himself a crossover.
Oh, killer crossover.
Just crossover. It just crossed him over nastily.
Another victim to the crossovers. Cross him up and sit him down.
Time for the crossover, powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. Matt, Josh.
Used to you talking into that microphone. No one ever does that.
Yeah, I figured.
Whoa, I do that. Josh Odson, I talk into the microphone.
You know what I noticed? I was listening to your show yesterday. You need a muff.
Okay, I'll get on that. Am I popping my peas?
Yeah, you're a pea popper. I am too, for the record. That's why I have a muff.
I'll get on that.
We'll give you one. This is a radio station, after all.
Just like I got my desk on my first day, they gave me one of these on my first day too.
Why did you get all the things on your first day?
Because I went up there and I was like, "Hey, I'm new. What do I need?"
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Do you want a computer?" And I was like, "No."
Nobody told me. What? They offered to give you a computer?
Yes.
What is going on? I needed a computer.
I never know how to communicate to people.
I did.
A good computer. It's one that works, has internet. That's about it.
I don't think I got the computer option, for the record.
I tried writing it into something. I tried, getting it a part of that.
Yeah? It didn't work?
Out. No.
Sad.
But I did get this new computer. So that was nice.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Way to go, Matt.
Shout out, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
Well, Dad was unemployed. And then, so he needed to buy a computer for his unemployment. And then he wasn't unemployed for that long. And they gave him a work computer. And so he wasn't using
Man,
his
there's
computer.
a lot of corollaries to me here, other than I didn't have to buy a computer.
So
I was unemployed, wasn't unemployed that long. They tried to give me a computer. I said no.
Yeah, well, so he said yes.
Oh,
and so he just had this computer lying
yes.
around. And so he was like, "Do you want?" He's like, I'm not using this computer. You can have it as opposed, because I told him, I was like, I'm going to buy a new computer. Like, I think I'll do that. And he's like, "No, just take this one." So I was very lucky in that regard.
Wonderful.
My life changed yesterday.
Why?
I
realized that your whole weather thing from the other week was off by a few weeks.
Yes, that. And
that was a bad call.
Thanks, Connor.
I believe we call that a take fail.
Yeah, I've had plenty of those. It's not, I've had a lot of those in my past. I'm going to have plenty of them in my future. I might have a couple of those today. But continuing on, I listened to an audiobook yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Those are good.
And I can't stop.
Look at that. We found you a muff right away.
It's the guy who gave me the desk.
It's
Hey, Matt, this is Chris. Chris, this is Matt.
It's Mr. Desk.
Hold on. Let's real quick clarify one other point. You don't get a laptop because you lose everything you own.
Interesting. Take it from Mr. Muff.
Mr. Muff.
Desk Muff.
Mr. Desk Muff. I have a buddy whose last name is Muff. Jimmy.
That sucks.
What do you mean? Muff is a great last name.
I don't think it is.
I think that's a fun last name. What do you mean, Mr. Muff?
I don't know.
They'll call this kid Muffin growing up.
Yeah, see, that's part of it.
That's the best scenario.
Or Muff. What's up, Muff?
Yeah, they'll cause kid a lot of things.
Well, they called me a lot of things growing up. Having the Mick last name was a blessing and a curse. You can put anything behind Mick, and then it becomes me.
That's true. People have used the word farter a lot.
Yeah, that one's that's probably the worst one that I've heard. Like,
that's the worst one?
That's the worst one?
No. In terms of creativity. I love the Mick last names. Mick last names are fun. Like, it's like there have been some really good Mick last names, most of which I can't legally say on the air without getting fined by the FCC.
Okay.
But, the whole McDonald's dollar menu has been used on me up to this point. McTaser was a great one growing up. McNasty was a good one.
Why did you get called McTaser?
That was my PlayStation name growing up. Still is to this day.
So you gave that to yourself.
Well, then people, I would play video games with them, and then they'd see McTaser, and they'd like, "Oh, that's cool." So they call me Taser, and they call me McTaser. Or they call me McTaser.
So it really worked out for you.
McTaser 405.
I mean, that is a cool name.
Yeah, it was a good one. McNasty happened. My gym teacher, Dean Cadamatori, came up to me, and he was like, "I'm going to call you McNasty." And I'm like, Okay. And so he called me McNasky for 4 years in high school.
That's dope.
And then my junior year, he
Did
goes,
it have to do like hygiene or smell?
no,
or
he
anything?
just goes, I'm gonna call you that. It honestly ended up being a pretty accurate nickname.
Okay.
But he junior year, like, I'd known Coach Cad, talked to him a ton the last 3 years. He comes up to me and goes, "What's your first name?" He's like, I do not know what your first name is.
Yeah, people
First
have said
names
that to
are
me too.
irrelevant
Yeah.
for some people.
Have you gone? Because this is interesting. Like, people, when they talk to me or they acknowledge me, they call me Matt.
Mhm.
Anytime you two talk to me, Matt. When I see you, Connor,
Mhm.
I kind of call you Connor.
McTaser.
Well, I know for a fact when anybody ever talks about me when I'm not there, it's McMaster. It's like they only ever use my last name.
I guess I must not just be there yet. I think I'll call you Matt for a while.
No, but I'm saying that no one looks at me and goes, "What's up, McMaster?" Like, not a lot of people do that.
That just is a lot of syllables.
Is it too many words for it to be a good nickname?
I mean, it's still one word, but it's too
Is
many.
it possible that they talk about that or they use your last name when you're not around because your first name is a common first name? and
Probably.
so
That's probably
to
exactly why
drill in
it
on
is.
it being specifically about you and not some other Matt.
Your show's called what?
Middays with Matt,
Our show's called what?
Happer, and Schaefer.
Interesting.
What do you mean?
How often have you called me Mike?
Oh God, never.
Yeah.
That disgusts me. Thinking of calling you Mike.
How often has anyone here called me Connor?
I call you Connor.
Josh calls me Connor.
I call you Connor a ton.
It's pretty much Happer.
I call you Connor more than anything.
Yeah, it's early. It's early for you. Josh was pretty consistent though. He stayed with Connor the whole time. Still does to this day.
But Josh goes by Josh, even though there's two Joshes.
I probably vacillate with Josh and Odson.
Yeah.
Jodson. Sometimes.
I would use Odson to distinguish when talking about him to you guys if he's not around.
That's true, especially
Peterson-
considering there's another Josh.
I'm more likely to call him Tweederson than I am to call him anything
Ooh.
else.
I call Josh Odson government first class name. Let's go Josh Odson a lot. I just go, "What's up, Josh Odson?" Now Josh Peterson gets Josh, which I feel like is a sign of disrespect toward my co-host / producer. So I feel like I should switch that up.
Do you call Matt Rule Matt or Coach Rule or Matt Rule?
I call him Matt Rule.
Me too.
He gets first last name every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like I don't like Taylor Swift fans because they call her Taylor.
Me too.
It's so weird to me.
You're not cool with her.
Do you hang out with her? Are you friends with her? Is she coming to your family barbecue? No, she's not.
That's not in
What
the
do you
top
call it?
10 reasons why I don't care for the fans.
Can you list 1 through 9?
I would rather not.
Okay, fair
Not
enough.
a good position for Schaefer to be in.
No, like I've
Just
never
take my
called.
losses and keep my comments to myself.
I've never called like my favorite country artist Luke. Call him Luke Combs.
Who's the person that you least have known that you just called by their first name or by a nickname?
Beyonce.
No, but that's not really a nickname. And that's
You talking about like a famous person?
like that everybody else says, like, hey, that's Donald
Sure.
Trump. I just call him Don.
Donald. Yeah,
you know?
this is a great question. This is a great question.
I mean, I have a friend called Mole that everybody knows him as Mole. Nobody calls him Taylor.
That's kind of like Muff. But
Yeah, a little
better.
bit like Muff is not that bad. Donald is probably listening to this.
Sorry, Donald.
Toby McGuire.
You call him Toby?
Toby.
Yeah, I just love Toby.
I love
in
Toby. Toby's awesome.
Spider-Man.
But like
Leo. Nobody
yeah,
says
that's
Leo
true.
DiCaprio. It's
Yeah.
just Leo. His first name.
That's good.
Yeah,
You don't
that's
say Beyonce Knowles. You say Beyonce.
That's funny.
There's people in society that are just first name basis.
There are.
And then there's Shohei, who is somehow both Shohei or
That's a great
Ohtani,
one.
and he
Yeah.
owns both of them in a way that no one really will.
I don't call him Shohei. I call him Ohtani.
I call him Shohei.
I think I alternate between the two of them.
But Mike, that is a great way of putting it because there are definitely people. There is a definite line in the sand between people who call him Shohei and people call him Ohtani.
Yeah,
What
I think
kind of
people
people are
choose,
who?
and then
See,
there's,
I think
there's
a lot.
also me and others that are just like interchangeable.
I
It's
think-
the same.
I think there are a lot of broadcasters who call him Shohei, But then I think whenever they bring on like guests who just love sports, like if you ever watch like Rich Eisen, he brings on a lot of like actors who love sports, or like Colin Cowherd brings on a lot of actors who love sports. They always call him Ohtani.
Yeah.
Feel like if you're a fan of baseball, you call him Ohtani. If you're like, a broadcaster, you're more likely to call him Shohei.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I'm both, but I call him Ohtani.
Do you call him Bob, Bobby, Witt, Jr.?
Oh,
That has been sort of a tricky one.
Robert?
He
doesn't have he needs like a nickname.
So Ryan and Hud on the baseball broadcast, they call him Junior, which I feel
I don't like that.
I am adverse to.
I don't call
but
people
you
Junior.
can't
I don't like
see
that.
if
That's
you,
Ken Griffey Jr.
But you have to be
Exactly.
sizable.
That is why I don't do it for almost anyone else.
That's Ken Griffey
interesting.
Jr. I think I usually call him Bobby.
If you're gonna call a guy junior, you better be 45 years older than him. That's how I see it. If you're gonna
No, but like his
Or
name
it's
is Bobby
just
Witt Jr.
literally
Like,
Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
and it's Junior.
yes, that's it.
But if you called him,
wouldn't
if you
understand.
called
It was a
him,
different
you
time.
guys are like what, 10 years between each other, roughly 11.
Am I 10 years older than Bobby Witt Jr.? Probably not. Probably less.
Okay, so
What are you, 33?
Yeah.
He's 24.
yeah, so you're 9 years. If you called him junior,
Yeah, you're older than you realize.
yeah. If you called him junior,
He's 26, isn't he?
no,
I don't think so.
he's 25. If you called him junior, that'd be weird. You're not old.
I
enough
don't want to call him
junior.
Junior because I don't want to, because that's Ken Griffey Jr.
Fair enough.
I appreciate that.
I call him Bobby or Bob.
See, like back when
I have to go, by
when
the
the
way.
Cubs, you have to go.
Yeah, but Schaefer's going to stay.
Okay.
Deuces.
When
MVP. That's what I call him,
It's like
MVP.
you were,
where are you going?
I just have in order for Schaefer to have his meeting right after this, I have to have a meeting first, and then
Okay, you're good.
there's
You're
a
good.
meeting,
You're
and then to go back to the meetings.
Okay. All right. Have fun in your meetings.
That's what I call him, MVP.
Okay. I was going to say at the peak of the Cubs, if you said Tony, everybody knew you were talking about Anthony Rizzo.
Unless he messes up,
Okay.
then you go, Robert!
and I would have just assumed that it was Rizzo and Baez or Javi.
Well, they all kind of went by their last names. But like Chris was KB,
Was he?
Yeah.
See, this is where not.
But this is
being in the
regional.
area-
This
yeah.
is regional. This is so regional. This is
Right.
this
Yeah.
is not national. Like all those guys were first last name guys. I'm trying to think of. It's a great question of like, are there more? I've never. If I don't know you,
localize it.
your first and last name. What do you
So,
mean,
like,
Ja'Cory?
I would have a tough time when writing stories because I often just felt the need to say Dylan Raiola all the time. Now,
Sure.
part of it is there's
Great
Donovan
point.
Raiola. Maybe you're mentioning Dominic Raiola.
You
maybe
could,
Dayton.
yeah.
So part of it when you're writing is you had to specify.
It's funny,
but
though.
he has one of those names where it feels like you need both of the names in there.
So
I didn't ever feel
Dylan-
comfortable calling him Dylan.
I always did. I felt like I could say Dylan and everybody knew what I was
Yeah,
referring
yeah,
to.
and people did.
Like-
It's a me thing.
Like here's another one, like Ja'Cory. Like I
That
said,
one I'm fine calling him
like
Ja'Cory.
Ja'Cory, totally okay with. Now here's a weird one. Like
Nizea.
I feel like I got to go Nizea Hunter. Here's a different one. I feel
Why?
like I don't know. It's a natural thing. Cortez Mills. He will always be Cortez
Yeah.
Mills. I don't think I
Well,
can ever say Cortez.
Dane Key, because it's a total of seven.
It is.
7 letters.
Here's
you're
a-
just going all Dane Key.
I don't know if this
You're not
is
calling him Dane, and you're
yeah.
not calling him Key.
I don't know if this is it might be a linebacker thing. Because I'm Nick Henrich, Luke Reimer, Marquise Watson Trent, Vincent Chase.
Urlacher,
I can Urlacher, yeah, maybe. Briggs and Urlacher were because those were just unique. But I'm talking like Nebraska football, like Dawson Merritt. I can't call him Dawson. I could maybe call him Merritt. But I don't know. I feel like linebackers where it's like you don't
See,
you know what? Here's a great one. Ray.
What?
Ray Lewis.
oh,
But you have to be talking in the context of football. I don't know how many
Call him Ray?
I don't think I've ever called him Ray.
really.
It's always been Mr. Lewis or the defendant.
Yeah, there you go. Where's the suit? We're still trying to look for it. We haven't found the suit yet. One of the greatest mysteries. But no, I like I could probably count on one hand how many people that in no context I could say just one name and you'd be like, yeah, Leah would be one of them. Beyonce would be the other. But that's her name. That's
Well,
like
yeah,
it
I mean,
comes
some
with
of
the
it's their stage
territory.
name there, or whatever. Like Adele.
Adele. Yeah, that's to me, Adele and Beyonce don't
Because that's
count
how they
because
go by.
that's how they
Yeah,
go
no,
by.
I get it.
So I think it's just Leo. Oh, if I said Dwayne,
I would know that you mean The Rock, but you would
Yeah.
just say The Rock.
you would just say The Rock.
Because you wouldn't need to call him Dwayne unless you wanted to show off that you're the type of person that calls him Dwayne.
See, if I said Kevin to my generation, they would immediately think Kevin Hart. But maybe people older would be like Kevin Bacon.
No. I mean, I would probably.
Oh, Ledskir's
I
got a
would just
good
assume
one.
you're talking about Kevin Arnold in
Led-
the Wonder Years.
Ledskir's got a good one. LeBron.
Yeah, I mean,
You just go LeBron.
Kobe. I
Kobe.
mean,
Yeah.
basketball lends itself to more of those.
Steph.
Yep.
Yeah. Kind of all of them.
Wow, basketball really does do this.
Yeah. Russ.
Tim. Everybody knows if you're saying Tim, it's Tim.
It's
Duncan.
Tim. Tim Donaghy?
No. The other TD.
Tim Legler?
Nope.
Um,
You call him Legs.
but that's a nickname. Do you call him Legs?
No.
That's when I started calling Bigelow Biggs. And then-
Giannis.
Giannis. But see, like, what is the differentiation between unique names and like if I say DeBrickashaw, you know, there's no other one we're competing
Right.
with,
Yeah.
you know,
I mean, in some level, there's only some people that have the same name.
like the
But
coldest.
if you say Tim in
yeah.
the context of basketball,
See, but-
everyone knows who you're talking about.
See, but even like, what is like?
Like there's
I
now
think
a run
Leo-
on people named Kobe
Yeah.
or Shaq
Sure,
or Keyshawn, and you know that it means Keyshawn Johnson, not
Yes.
Junior.
not Junior.
It means Kobe Bryant,
Yeah,
and it means Shaquille O'Neal. Like,
yeah.
their names are
but-
so big that they became popular in popular culture, but you know the origination.
See, that's like Denzel is another one too.
Yeah, there's only one Denzel.
There's only one because his name was actually Denzel. It's a fun fact. He was Denzel Washington, and then when he got to Hollywood, he became Denzel.
Good decision on his part.
I think it's a great decision on his part. But there's a difference between like the unique names and everybody knowing what those unique names are, and having a super common name, but everybody understanding that you were referring to this one specific person. That's like star power on a whole other level.
Yeah, so
Like, that's
who's
how-
the most common?
Like DiCaprio. Like you could say Leo, and
Yeah.
Yeah. That is how popular
But I don't think you
and
could say
impactful he is.
Brad and have everyone know that you mean
Ooh,
Brad Pitt.
I don't know.
If you just said you're just
Brad.
out of context, say Brad, and
Well,
people-
but there always has to be context to the conversation where it's like, yeah, I went to the movie, Brad was in it.
you're not going to go like, oh, I went to the Brad movie.
No, you'd go, I went to the Pitt movie.
I went to the Leo movie.
I went to you could say I went to see that's a great one, Mike. You're totally right.
You'd go to the Denzel movie.
I
but you wouldn't go
you
to the
don't
Brad
get-
movie.
But no, but
you're not
you-
going to the Jake movie.
But you can't say you
You're not
can't
going to the Ed movie.
But that Denzel's unique. You're definitely not saying I went to the Washington movie because then
Right.
they'd be like, what president, you know, or like what who
Brad Pitt is so short, like the name is so short.
But you'd say both of them.
Yeah.
It's like
You
the
would
Dane
say.
Key thing. I wonder
But
if
you
there's like
could-
it's
you-
got to be 8 or less for that.
I would say I think it just comes down to syllables. If you have a
It also flows really.
Dane
nicely.
Key, 2 syllables.
Yeah, it
Brad
flows.
Pitt, 2
Just
syllables.
flows really well.
It's great. See, I have too many Matthew. That's why I'm Matt McMaster, not Matthew McMaster, because that's too many. Now I'm
I mean,
Can't do it.
my wife hates our last name.
Schaefer.
Yeah.
I think that's a great last.
No,
name.
she hates it because she came from like a 3-letter last name, and so it's just short and punctual
Sure.
and quick.
Sure,
And then now you put
but
any
she's
name
got
with
a
Schaefer.
she's got a great alliteration to it.
Yeah, but she doesn't want that.
You got a great your name.
I think she doesn't regret getting married to me. That I know of.
Yeah.
I think if she could have done it without giving up her last name, which was entirely an option, it just became a question of how you would name your child.
like Schaefer is such a strong last name. Like when I
It's
think
just a
of
German common last name.
exactly, I
Very
think
common.
I think of Schaefer. I think of just hardworking blue collar German people
I
on
don't.
the
I know my
on-
family.
on the railroads, black nails, right on, taking sledgehammers and building the foundation upon which Middle America was built on. That's what I think of when I think of Schaefer.
I think I have these thoughts.
Do you think about Schaefer too much?
Yeah, you
I
really
mean,
do.
I do work with him now. And he was a guest on the morning show every
was.
9 a.m. on Fridays. It was a great was a great conversation that I
Was
looked
it?
forward to every single
14
week.
year run,
It was a good
13-year run, 13-year run.
I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I've only been able to think of Leo this entire time in terms of the
Actors?
and I will just anybody in terms of just common.
To be fair,
first
I
name.
thought of Leo.
Like when I say Mike,
Too many
That's-
mics.
no, it's at one point though it would have been Michael Jordan.
No, it wouldn't have. Nobody called
You
him
don't-
Mike.
you
Nobody
don't-
called him Mike Jordan.
Okay, so when he said Michael, but here's the thing: be
no,
like
they would have
Mike,
thought of Michael Jackson.
be like Mike.
Yeah,
Because he was Michael Jordan, but he was referenced as Mike.
or MJ or Jordan. His became a
23.
brand. You would say Jordan before you would say Mike or
You would
Michael.
say, yeah. What would you say first, Air or Mike?
Neither.
See, it's interesting when we had the Michael Jordan conversation because I was famously not alive for it, but very much grew up in it.
Yeah. I
You
was
know?
alive for a portion of it and hated him.
Whoa.
Were you a Cleveland Cavaliers?
Sonics.
Oh, Gary Payton, Sean
Yep.
Kemp.
96. And then The Last Dance comes out and he's laughing. He's laughing
know.
at my guy
The,
Gary.
the glove.
He's
That's
just
one. By the way,
laughing.
that's one of the best lines in The Last Dance.
Oh, it's horrible.
I didn't the
So
glove. I didn't have
Me and
problem.
George Carl are so mad.
I didn't have a problem with the glove.
Yeah.
You a Kemp or Payton guy? That's an interesting
Kemp.
conversation.
John Kemp was my first favorite athlete. I
That
think.
left shrimp.
I was a fan. Was never a favorite, but a fan. I like Vin Baker when they traded Sean
That's a
Kemp.
great one.
Brent Barry was kind of the guy for a
Yeah.
little bit.
So
People
do you-
forget Kevin Durant was drafted by the Sonics.
So I have a Kevin Durant rookie card in a Sonics uniform. Surprise possession of mine.
I've
Do you
often
have
thought
a connection?
Kevin Durant Sonics jersey would be like the ultimate
Dude.
NBA jersey.
But now that's been taken over by fraternities. Like if
Yeah,
you
I
go
mean-
to a frat party or you
What?
go to any of that, that is like the top. That's one of the premier jerseys.
Some of it is he's played on enough teams it doesn't matter anymore.
any sort of like old school Phoenix Suns jerseys has turned into
Barkley.
even Marley. I've
Marley?
seen Dan Marley.
Oh, okay.
Thunder Dan.
Thunder Dan. Dan Marley. I've seen a Dan Marley Phoenix Suns jersey at frat parties before. That
tracks.
that
For some
and
reason, I
no,
thought you were saying Marbury.
no, not
And then you
Stephon
weren't
Marbury.
pronouncing it, and I was like, "Well, that's a
Marley.
weird way to say that."
No, I would love that's I can't wear basketball jerseys. They just don't look good on me.
Most
It
people
just-
can't.
Yeah, I'm just not. Even when I was a little bit bigger and looked better and everything like that, even then, like, just didn't fit. You know, it was one of those things I would have to wear a hoodie, but then put the basketball jersey over.
That's never a good look.
No, it's not. It's
No.
honestly more embarrassing than it is good looking. So
That's just what I assume people in Boston do to go to the games.
dude, that is crazy.
It makes me think of New York, like the Knicks and Boston fans. Like that's what it looks
I
like.
feel
over
like
there.
every Affleck and Damon movie that's based in Boston, you probably find somebody who's wearing. And nowadays too, the popular thing is that you turn the jersey backwards, and so the last name is outward facing as opposed to
I'm
the
out.
logo.
Yeah. Don't do that.
I only had one NBA jersey in my life, I think.
Oh, really? What was it?
It was a Larry Johnson jersey from
Wow.
the Charlotte Hornets.
Did you watch Space Jam? And you were
Grandma.
like,
No, I was a fan of Larry Johnson and a fan of the Charlotte. So like I like Seattle a lot and I like Charlotte a lot. And I couldn't get a Kemp jersey because there wasn't one at the JC Penney's in Columbus.
okay,
And my parents weren't going to order it. But there was a Larry Johnson jersey. And I did write to Larry Johnson one time, and I had my brother write for me because he knew cursive, and I felt like that's what was necessary. And he wrote back, and because my brother wrote in cursive, he wrote back to Miguel Schroeder. And so that was like a formulative thing for me, and that became like, you know, you have your
Miguel
Mick
Schroeder.
Taser thing.
yeah.
My creative player in every video game ever is Miguel Schroeder.
That's
That's
awesome.
like my alias.
I had a buddy who his sister ended up marrying Scottie Pippen. She's very well known actually. And he was like, "Yeah, if you like give me your Scottie Pippen cards, like I'll have them sign them for you. Like I see him all the time." I'm like, "Great." So I had like 4 like Scottie Pippen cards, and I put them in a box, and I gave them to him, and like every week went by, and I'd be like, "Hey, did he sign him? Did he sign him? Whatever." He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll get him. I'm gonna see him this weekend. Whatever." I think it was just his ploy to steal my Scottie Pippen.
Oh, you never got him back.
I never got him back.
That's sad.
I had a bag.
Your buddy was related to the person that married Scottie
Yes.
Pippen? Okay.
Yes. He was related to
Underrated
Larsa.
part of the Last Dance, the Madonna aspect. of all
So he was related to Larsa, who now Larsa became a part of the, the Malik Beasley thing.
of it. Kind of.
Like she was dating,
Yes.
other younger NBA players, and this is when Scotty was going through his midlife crisis. Yeah.
Still kind
So
of going through that.
a little bit. Ever since he stopped becoming the ambassador of the Chicago Bulls, everything has kind of fallen off the heap. Which, by the way, they were retiring Derrick Rose's jersey tomorrow.
Oh, is Derrick Rose like the pinnacle Chicago Bull for you?
Yeah. Kirk Heinrich.
Whoa.
Captain Kirk was like
They've been like 7.
Yeah, I was like 6. I remember like growing up, like they were very mediocre with Vinny Del Negro, and he was the
Yes.
best player on that team. And so whenever they would win a big game, they would put Kirk Heinrich on the front page of the Sun-Times, because at the time the Bulls were still only like 10 years removed
Sun Times guy.
from. Yeah, I wasn't a Tribune, so
It's a big thing.
Yeah, I don't think we liked the Trib because of their relation with the Cubs, and we were a little upset with how that all was going down. So we were a Sun-Times family. And we didn't want to support it. So anyway, Kirk Heinrich was a formative Bull for me. That in the 1 year of Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace was the first jersey I ever owned. There's a small little like toddler Ben Wallace jersey, which will be my son's very first jersey. And he only played like a half season for the Bulls.
Your son's first jersey is going to be Ben Wallace.
A Ben Wallace on the Bulls.
All right. My son's first jersey was Randy Moss.
Good.
I
Very good.
purposely bought this, and it is sad how much joy it gave me to put him in a Randy Moss jersey.
Why is it sad?
Because it shouldn't matter that much. But
I think it should.
Like having photos of my kid in that jersey, knowing, and the whole thing was because I never got to have one.
Oh,
Because again, they weren't available at the
Sure,
JCPenney in Columbus.
that's very sweet.
And so like I made the decision. It was way too expensive for something he got to wear like 3 times. And I spent the entire time worried that he was going to spit up on it
yeah.
or spill on it or whatever. But I still have it. It's
So
great.
here's the funny thing. Did your mom do this? She's got a little box of all of my little baby stuff, and like coats and sweaters.
I have
and
a
shoes.
tote that has stuff, but it's more like from high school
Okay.
or accomplishments, alleged accomplishments.
She's alleged accomplishments. Your accomplishments are accomplishments in high school.
I mean, yeah, like
You
whatever
were a
they
tri-sport athlete. You should
not a I was, but not in the traditional sense. In that I played 3 sports,
but you didn't play.
I never did it
sports?
all in the same year
Okay.
because nope, sophomore year I did. Sophomore year is the 1 year I did.
Everybody was a tri-sport athlete freshman year. And
So
then-
freshman year was football and baseball. Sophomore year was football, basketball, baseball, and then I just gave up football and basketball and only played baseball.
I did track, cross country, and hockey.
Okay.
And then I gave up track because I was like, I'm only doing cross country.
I would give up track.
Track is so stupid.
I think
hate
society
track.
could give up track. That's
Well,
going to make
I
people
don't-
really
come
mad.
on, no, that is incorrect.
I am not a track guy.
Okay, but that is like rooted in sports. Like
Keep the 100,
yeah.
200.
The-
Get rid of the rest.
wait, no, stop it. We still need
Do
the
we need
steeplechase.
relays?
Yes, we do. The relays are incredible.
I don't know if we do.
The 4x1.
This is not a take that is going to be received well.
No,
I-
it's not.
I acknowledge this. It's not my least popular sports take. I've got one that's worse.
I unveiled
but
my
this
least
is-
popular sports take yesterday.
And here's the thing: they can keep track. I just don't. If Hudson's never involved in track, I'd be okay with that.
But as a
It's a very valuable athletic thing. I get that.
exactly.
I just don't want to be
That was a
around it.
part of your life. That was a part of your career.
I know, and I don't want to be around it. I don't want to see all the quotes and the shirts and all of that.
Was that an annoying part of being your job, having to be like, is this guy
Going
a
and
track
interviewing
guy?
people about recruiting while they're throwing the shot put?
Yes,
Yeah, it felt dumb at the time. And
Okay.
it feels dumb as I say it out loud.
no, it's fine.
But I mean, it's not to take away from like the accomplishments of track athletes are amazing.
They
I
are.
just don't care about it.
I love that take from you. I love Mike Schaefer. What I appreciate about you is that we talk about backpedaling. You're 10 toes down, man. You're always 10 toes down.
I believe what I believe, and I don't really care if people like it or not.
I'm more like 6 toes down and could be convinced to move back.
You don't want to be convinced.
And there are some takes where I'm firmly steady in the cement. Like enough to write that Indiana will make the college football
Yeah,
playoff
look, that
in
worked out for you.
2025. Look what worked out for you before you even started working here.
The
Nebrasketball will
yeah.
make the tourney.
I don't remember when that went up.
That went up
Exactly.
before the season.
I think it did.
I
but-
wrote that with you.
Oh, okay.
That's my handwriting.
And then I will never run out of, or my car or whatever. I will never run out of gas.
I
in
can't
my
reveal
car.
who I know who did it because they told me specifically not to say it on air because they haven't revealed it to other people who are listening to the show. But I know somebody very close to me who ran out of gas. And I told him, I go, clearly not Mike Schaefer.
You shouldn't run out of gas. It's not hard.
They were told that their gauge was like, you have 10 miles left. And they're like, this is plenty.
No, I've driven on the double bar. It's fine.
Yeah. And they're like, and they got,
You just got to know when to fold them.
and they didn't know when to walk away.
No, they did. Well, they walked away.
Well, they actually ran to the gas station.
Still involved feet and
They called
Surface.
the cops. The cops had to come.
what? Why are you calling the cops?
They were in the middle of an intersection. And,
Oh goodness.
and they were, I don't know where they were at, but it was where they were going down a slope and then you had to go back up a slope. And so they didn't have enough power to
Not
go back up
good.
the slope. So they had to call the cops. Can you imagine having to call the cops in this weather? It'd be terrible.
no.
Okay. That's the crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair at everlevelconcrete.com. It's cold outside, but we're going to keep you warm here on Middays with Matt coming up next.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're gonna hurt some people.
Whose car are we gonna take?
I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
That's an absolutely horse crap call.
Make room for Daddy! But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Chicago is.
This is Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Happy championship football Friday, everybody. Middays with Matt here on 1620 Zone. Matt McMaster, joined by Josh Odson here on a championship weekend where we will find out, will we have a rematch of a Super Bowl from years past, or will we have a brand new thing to enjoy, thing to watch? Here's an interesting conversation, Josh Odson. I would be a little annoyed if it was Seahawks Patriots or Seahawks Broncos. I would be a little annoyed if it was Rams Patriots. Like, I think part of the fun of the Super Bowl is seeing two teams that you like randomly don't really see play each other all that much. I don't like Super Bowl rematches.
There's a lot of rematches.
There's a lot. Eagles Patriots, right? That was a Super Bowl rematch.
Well, the Eagles aren't. Well, yeah. I'm talking about our possibilities.
Our possibilities, there's only one non-rematch, which is Broncos Rams.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want that.
You don't want Broncos Rams?
I don't want Jared Stidham in the Super Bowl. Sorry, Stibbs.
What? I feel bad for Jared Stidham. Okay? What has the guy done?
Nothing. That's the point.
No, that's not the point. That actually is the point. He's done nothing for you to hate him, Josh Odson. He barely had an opportunity to be the quarterback in Las Vegas. He then went ahead and, got a backup job. And he hasn't played football in a while.
The 2018 Music City Bowl MVP.
Is that, what? I'd rather be the 2018 Music City Bowl MVP than the 2020 MVP from the wild card game, the Nickelodeon game. Do you remember that?
I remember games on Nickelodeon.
Did you ever watch those games on Nickelodeon all the way through?
I dipped in.
Okay. Did you ever enjoy them?
Not for me, but I appreciated that they existed.
You know what? I love the Disney animatronic games this year. Okay. I watched the whole first half of the Monsters Inc. game. All right. The entirety of the first half. I watched that game between the Chargers and Eagles, which ended up being a really, really good game. Where people forget that Justin Herbert played on a broken wrist the entire, or not a broken, but a very much banged up wrist.
He's always hurt.
Okay, Josh. Has Justin Herbert become your new JJ Watt?
There's a lot of similarities. Yeah.
I think there's a ton of similarities. Like super prospect, all-American boy, really good stats.
Unearned mass appeal.
There you go. Now, Justin Herbert hasn't entered the cool guys don't like you phase yet. You know that one? Because after
on an island.
No. Listen to this. Because after Hard Knocks on HBO of the Houston Texans and JJ Watt was rapping Remember the Name in the weight room, a lot of people are like, this guy's a loser. This guy just wants attention. This guy's kind of he's corny. There are a lot of people who were like you who believed, including, very popular Pardon My Take podcasters, Big Cat and PFT on Barstool. They did not like JJ Watt, but then they met JJ Watt and JJ Watt became this edgy cool guy I love that you have never backed down from this.
No. Veneers are not cool.
We are kind of all getting to the point where people are just like, yeah, I don't have to brush my teeth. I'll just get veneers. I don't have to take care of my hair. I'll just go to Turkey. I'll just get a hair transplant, which, by the way, he definitely did, right? I mean,
Yeah. Probably when he was buying one of the many soccer teams he owns.
He only owns one, I think.
I don't know.
Does he own an NWSL team? By the way, Trinity Rodman, which was the big free agent in the NWSL, she was signed to her former team. So congratulations to Trinity Rodman. Why I know that? I'm a sicko. But
Big story in sports yesterday.
yeah, it was a front headline. She's a big deal. Who is she dating?
I don't know. I don't care.
She was dating somebody incredibly popular.
Oh, yeah?
Like very popular. I think it might have been like a potential toxic relationship.
Oh.
I don't know.
Okay, well,
No, you have to look at that. Oh, by the way, we have the battle for the future.
Ben Shelton?
Yes, he was American tennis player. You ever see Wimbledon
I have seen
with
Wimbledon.
Paul Bettany?
No.
Okay. No, you haven't seen the movie Wimbledon with Paul Bettany?
No, I have not.
Okay. So there's like the villain in the movie is an American tennis player, and he is Ben Shelton. Like Ben Shelton is life imitating art. It's absolutely incredible. Anyway, continuing on. Nebraska basketball plays this weekend as well. Football on Sunday, which, by the way, big fan of 2 p.m. kicks and 5:30 kicks. Like
It's a pretty solid setup.
any day of the week, dude. I love that the Super Bowl is at 5:30. I think the fact that you play that big of a game and you're in it and you're with it and you find out who the champion is and then you look up and you're like, oh my God, it's only 8:30. Like I have the rest of the night ahead of me.
It's why people who want the Monday after the Super Bowl off are morons.
Oh, I don't know about that. I would love having the Monday after
The game
Super
got
Bowl.
over at 8:30. Oh, it got over 2 hours ahead of normal schedule on a Sunday night.
Yeah, but the reason why people want the Monday of Super Bowl off is because they want to drink incessantly during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Especially
March
if it's
18th ain't a holiday.
What's March?
March 17th, you go out and you drink all night. March 18th ain't a holiday.
Are you talking about St. Patrick's Day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not saying that I support it, but I would be quite honest with you. Like having this job, I love having this job. But if the Bears were to win the Super Bowl, I don't know what I would do.
Well, good thing we don't have to worry about it.
Thank you, Josh Hodson. Championship weekend. Rams take on the Seahawks in Seattle. That game kicks off at 2:00 and then the 5:30. Or wait, did I get those mixed up?
No, you got it right.
Yeah, and then 5:30 game. Denver takes on.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You did flip
I did flip them. 2:00 is the New England Denver game. We will talk about that. And Seattle take on the Rams at 5:30. That should be a fun one. Nebraska basketball also plays this weekend at the Barn. It's a trap. This is a trap. Like from a surface level take, right? If you're just kind of a casual college basketball fan, right? You're looking at this and you're going, whoa, they're 10-9. They're only 3-5 in the Big Ten. They've lost their last 4 games, right? You're thinking to yourself, this is easy. Nebraska basketball has played much better teams in way worse circumstances, and they've become victorious every time. This is a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. This is the quintessential trap game. Okay. Minnesota in the Barn. The Barn's going to be rocking. The Barn's been rocking all season long.
I'm hearing good things about the Barn.
Dude, the Barn is Nico Medved has resurrected the energy in that arena. It's incredible. Like I thoroughly enjoy watching games played in Minneapolis. That game between Iowa and Minnesota, where Minnesota ended up winning by 3 points, that was a hell of a contest. It's also a great game between Wisconsin and Minnesota, where that game ended on a buzzer beater. So Minnesota, we'll talk about all that game. But on the surface level, you look at Minnesota and you go, oh, they're 10-9. Oh, they're only 3-5 in the Big Ten. Oh, they've lost their last 4 games. But I'm telling you right now, it's going to be way tougher than you imagine for Nebraska to beat the Golden Gophers on the road tomorrow, especially without Braden Frager. I got a couple of interesting little tidbits on Braden Frager's and some Braden Frager stats.
I hear he's day to day.
So his X-ray came back negative, which is a positive. That means that there's no broken bones or anything like that.
That's good.
But it's kind of, so they haven't made, at this point, I haven't seen if they made an official announcement of whether or not he'll be out on Saturday, he's probably going to be out Saturday. It's honestly,
Let's be cautious.
he's prerequisite. He's not playing Saturday. Will he play against Michigan?
Yes.
Nah, probably doubtful. Probably, if I had to guess, it'd probably be the doubtful. Illinois at home will be 11 days removed, okay, from his injury. So that might be okay, can he go? That might be he has a minutes restriction game, potentially. I don't know. We'll see. But not going to play this weekend against Minnesota. But I'll tell you why that doesn't matter as much as you think. So Nebraska basketball takes on Minnesota on Saturday. Troy Dannen was on his radio show last night. Let me tell you. So he was on for 2 segments. The second segment was with Troy Vincent, who's a part of the athletic department. I didn't listen to that. Okay.
Whoa.
I didn't listen to that. What I did listen to, though, was his solo segment with Kyle Crooks, who, by the way, Kyle did a great job this year doing Nebraska football. Very impressed with the job that he did on the radio, taking over. Obviously, it goes without saying, massive shoes to fill. And I think that he did a great job stepping into that role and announcing Husker football games this season. Had an interview with Troy Dannen yesterday. Dannen, I think, just was like, screw it. I'm going to just go ahead and lay out everything I possibly know about how this can get fixed so people can be more educated on it and understand what we're trying to accomplish. He did that. We pulled a couple of sound bites from that because I think that he did a great job of laying out of what they need to do to accomplish some things. And then I think he revealed a little bit of his hand of what he wants. Okay. And I think what he wants, and when I explain to you what that is, it kind of goes without saying that it would, at the end of the day, probably benefit Nebraska athletics in general. So we'll talk about Mr. Dannen and his comments. Charles Bediako plays basketball tomorrow. Bediako, the very, at this point, infamous basketball player for Alabama, who signed a 2-way contract in the NBA and now has been granted to return to college basketball until his hearing on January 27th, which will go ahead and make a decision and decide whether or not he should be fully reinstated in college basketball. He plays Florida for the Alabama Crimson Tide tomorrow. Todd Golden, the national championship coach for the Florida Gators, had some interesting thoughts on it and said some very bold things, just like a lot of people have been saying bold things in college basketball recently about this absolutely ridiculous, just stupid, dumb thing that we're doing right now in the sport about letting professional basketball players into college. It's dumb. It's idiotic. It's going against everything we know the sport stands for and can potentially ruin the sport. So we're going to talk about that game and honestly, the consequences and implications that Bediako being reinstated might have on college sports. We'll go back to the well, talking about NFL and coaching changes as well. Jesse Minter, come on down. You are the next head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, a new era in Baltimore. He's a part of a controversial past, you could say, very, very lightly, but last couple of years has been doing a very good job as the defensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Chargers. So a new era in Baltimore. And we have updates on the Buffalo Bills head coaching job, where their top 2 considerations at this point, or top 3 considerations at this point, are 1, their former offensive coordinator or current offensive coordinator in Joe Brady, their former offensive coordinator in Brian Dable, and a head coach that beat them in the regular season with a pretty crappy Miami Dolphins team. So we'll talk about that as well.
Oh, and they interviewed someone today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, they did. Oh, yeah. You thought he was locked up in Los Angeles. You thought him and his capris were going to be calling plays for Jim Harbaugh. Maybe not. By the way, can you imagine accepting a job in LA and then being like, no, I'm going to go to Buffalo? Has anyone ever done that? Has anyone ever said, no. I don't want to be in nice, cozy, beautiful weather Los Angeles. I have a much better cross-country opportunity in upstate New York. I'm going to go there.
They also interviewed Philip Rivers today.
No way. I did not see that.
Yeah.
Why?
Got to exhaust all your options.
Who would win more football games, Philip Rivers or Jeff Saturday? Isn't it great, by the way, that it just always seems like the Colts are the team to just do the most random crap? Yeah, we fired our head coach. Bring in Jeff Saturday. Hey, our quarterback got hurt. What are we going to do, guys? Well, there's this guy who hasn't played football in 5 years. But you know what? His insurance plan for his dozen kids is coming to a halt here in a little bit. I think he's desperate to not pay for it on his own. Let's go and get Philip Rivers. Andrew tweets in, J.J. Watt is an investor in 2 soccer teams, Burnley FC in the Premier League and RCD Español in La Liga. I actually did a marketing campaign for RCD Español. Fun fact, Matt. All righty. Loaded show for you today. Austin Jacobsen will join us at 1 o'clock to talk about the ever-changing world of Nebraska high school athletics. That should be a riveting and non-controversial conversation. And Brian Christopherson will join us at 11:30 to talk about everything Nebraska football / Nebraska basketball. BC, one of the best in the business. That's our lineup, brought to you by the Rooferys at John Higgins Weather Guard. And don't forget to call in to the Prairie Flower Casino hotline, 402-951-1620, and email us at the Equitable Bank inbox, Equitable Bank. They take banking personally. Pick up on the first ring. Old man Doug, shout out, one of the best. Middays with Matt picks up on the other side of this break.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on up. Plus 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel?
I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 6.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Don't know what the Big Ten schedule is going to look like yet. But we do know what the college football playoff is going to look like next year. 12 teams. They could not come to an agreement to expand the playoff.
Oh, no.
Thank God. Just keep it at 12. Keep it at 12 forever. That's not going to happen. Okay? It's not. At this point, it just doesn't. It just seems like complaining about things like doesn't even okay. Why do we complain about things? We complain about things to make our point known and in a way try and convince the person who's making decisions, hey, this is not the best route to go, right? That's like the root of complaining. Hey, I'm telling you why I don't like this so you can understand why it doesn't favor me. And maybe you will change your decision or have a different opinion or outlook on things because of how I feel, right? When it comes to college football, it's just so pointless because it's like everything that fans want and everything that it seems like, even to a certain point, that certain athletic directors want, it just doesn't matter because it's just like the intentions are always just so much, there's just so much disconnect between like what viewers and consumers are wanting and what everybody who is making decisions want. But at the same time, and that's a whole other conversation to be had, the 2026 playoff will have 12 teams this year. A couple of changes, Josh Hodson.
Oh.
Each Power 4 champ, regardless of ranking, and will have an auto bid into the playoff. So this solves the Duke problem. Okay. So you had two group of 5 teams get an auto bid because Duke wasn't high enough rated, rated higher than them in the college football playoff poll after winning the ACC. I don't have any problem with a G5 team making it into the college football playoff. I do have an issue with 2 G5 teams making it into the college football playoff. So this goes ahead and kind of nips that in the bud. If you win the ACC, the Big 12, the Big 10, or the SEC, you are in the pool. You are in the final 12, regardless of what your ranking is. And Notre Dame gets a guaranteed at-large bid if they're ranked in the top 12 in the final poll.
Okay.
Do you want to know what Notre Dame's football schedule is, Josh Hodson?
I know they play Miami in November.
Okay, very good. You got anything else?
I bet there's Navy on there. I know USC isn't on there.
So they'll go ahead and they'll play Wisconsin. Not a good football team. They'll play Rice. Not a good football team.
Woof.
Michigan State. Currently not a good football team.
All right. When they scheduled some of these, they were probably like,
oh, yeah, this
decent.
is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina. Not a good football team.
Bill Belichick.
Stanford. Not a good football team. BYU on the road.
Okay.
Okay.
Mormons versus Catholics.
Yes. Very good, Josh Hodson. And then they play Navy. Then they play Miami, Boston College, and SMU. So
SMU.
Yeah.
ACC rivalry game.
Is that a heated rivalry?
SMU Notre Dame? You betcha.
No USC, which is so stupid and so dumb. And once again, just always boiling back to what do the fans want doesn't matter. Every fan of both USC and Notre Dame understands how important that rivalry is and how important it is to play the game for both programs and wanted nothing more than that game to be played. And yet because of, well, it doesn't make sense for us as USC to add another power conference opponent when we already play a very tough schedule in the Big Ten with 9 power, conference games. We're not going to go ahead and play that one. And so it's, once again, it's not about the fans, and it's not about pleasing you, and it's not about giving the consumer the best product. It's how much money can I get in my pocket? Nebraska basketball, not a program that is worried about how can I get you the money in your pocket into our pocket. That is a program that is solely just focused on winning right now. The big story coming from Wednesday's victory against Washington was Braden Frager's injury. We got a good update on that, basically communicating, hey, it's not long-term, okay? Sprained his ankle, x-ray came back negative, he's going to be fine day to day. I haven't seen any official word yet. More than likely, almost a 99% chance he's not going to play against Minnesota. We'll see what his status is for the Michigan game. That is a little upsetting just because that game is going to be incredibly difficult and you're going to need all hands on deck. And so with how hot Frager's been playing, it definitely sucks that you lose him for that. At the same time, I don't think that Nebraska doesn't have a shot at winning that game even without him. And then you go ahead and you play Illinois at home after you beat them on the road early in the year. Do you want a funny Braden Frager stat, Josh Hudson?
Absolutely.
Okay. So everybody's like, originally, there were some people who said, oh my God, the depth. Oh my God, the depth. We're worried about the depth. Well, actually, and this was a conversation that we had with Robin Washington on Monday, Nebraska plays 7 guys. They kind of mainly play the same 7 dudes. And then you get a little bit of spot Jared Garcia minutes, right? We see Garcia come in for 5-6 minutes a game, give Rink a little bit of rest or, give Burkett, give guys a little bit of break time. And then he does his role. He sits on the bench. And so people are like, whoa, Jared Garcia, like his role is going to increase. And then who's going to give him the spot minutes off the bench? I want to remind people of this. Jared Garcia in the game at Illinois, where Nebraska won on a buzzer beater from Jamarcus Lawrence, played more minutes and scored more points than Braden Frager in that game. Frager scored 0 points and played 13 minutes at Illinois. Jared Garcia played 14 minutes and scored 10 points in that game. My point is not Jared Garcia is better than Braden Frager. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, I'm not, don't put it on the internet that I said that. Because
nobody do that.
I didn't say that. I did not say Jared Garcia is better than Braden Frager. What I did say, though, is this. Jared Garcia is an incredibly capable Big Ten basketball player. Jared Garcia has played double-digit minutes in very important games and has scored and proven to be a legitimate asset in those games. We talked about this. Garcia will, like this team, yeah, they played 7. They only play 7.5 guys, but they have depth. They have athletes. They have experienced players. And not only are they able to suffer one injury, which they already did with Connor Sejan, they've suffered a second terrible injury, not terrible, the tough injury with Braden Frager. And they're still a really, really good team. Like in the moments that Jared Garcia has come out and he's played, he will, he's shown that he can get to the basket. He can shoot the 3. He's big. He's athletic. Is he a superstar? Is he a little limited in his speed? Yeah, but he can move and get off the dribble for his size. And so I think Garcia, he's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. Are you a little bit worried of, who's going to be the other guy who kind of fills in those 5, 6, 7 minutes, to make sure that everybody gets their rest and whatnot? Yeah, maybe that's kind of a first world problem. That's not going to make or break you. And also, too, what you got to remember is you got Jurevicius, Oogie, the transfer from Central Michigan. He hasn't really played. He was a guy that when they got from the transfer portal, they thought that he was going to make a pretty big impact. And now, so he's been dealing with injury. And so we don't really know his full status, and whether or not he's going to be able to make a big impact, but they still got that in their back pocket too. So, like I said yesterday, Frager injury tough, but they go from being a great team, because they are a great team, because you don't go 19-0 and beat Michigan State and beat Illinois and kick the crap out of Wisconsin, Oregon, Northwestern, and Washington without being a great team. Frager added that element, that extra layer of scoring and athleticism that made them great. But even without him, because of that solid starting 5 and what they have, just in terms of how they're coached and how they play and knowing their roles, they're still really, really good. I think tomorrow will be a tough game against Minnesota. You got to look out for Cade Tyson. 6'7" point guard, 20 points per game, 40% shooting from 3, 50% from the field. I saw him play against Wisconsin and Northwestern earlier this year. The guy's a handful. He's playing 36 minutes a game. Okay. He does not leave the floor. By far the most important player for Minnesota. So It'll be a handful handling him, but Minnesota 10-9 on the year, 3-5 in the Big Ten, 83rd in the net. Look, you're going to look on the surface and say, wow, 10-9, and they lost their last 4 games. They lost in 3 of their last 4 games. 2 of them they've lost in overtime, and 1 of them they lost in a buzzer beater to Wisconsin. Okay, this is a team, especially at home. They play teams very, very close. Yeah, maybe on paper, 83rd in the net and 10-9 is not very sexy. They're sneaky. Okay, Niko Medved is a really good coach. Okay, and he's going to get Minnesota basketball back on the right track eventually. This is clearly their first year. This is going to be a tough game. This is a tough game. Okay. And like I said, on the surface, this is tough, but in reality, it's a trap. It's a trap game. This is a trap game. Now, if Nebraska knows it, you know what you do? You spring the trap. Spring the trap.
Spring the trap.
And then you go into Michigan 20-0, baby. And maybe you're crossing your fingers you have Braden Frager, but you probably don't. So hopefully he'll be back for the Illinois game, because that will also be a massive game at home. All right, coming up next, we talk about NFL playoffs, baby. Championship weekend. Followed up by that, we'll talk with Brian Christopherson about Husker football. Austin Jacobsen will be here at 1 o'clock. We'll talk about the Baltimore Ravens coming up. Got a lot of things to dip our toe into, or maybe just dive in full head and full hands into the pool of sports here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Nova's Nation, the 2026 season is here. Join us Friday, January 30th at the CHI
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
It is Matt. You're on 1620 The Zone. I always forget where the on button is because of Microsoft. Oh my, I got all these things.
Oh, you're going to want to learn where that's at.
Yeah, thank you, Josh.
I'm not turning it on for you. Not one of those producers.
No, I don't want you to. I appreciate you do enough for me already.
You turn yourself on around here.
And I turn myself off. I do. I make sure. As somebody who has experienced a hot mic situation, okay, very scary. Very scary. Don't want to do that again. Very fortunate, too, when baby's first hot mic situation wasn't an absolute disaster.
Baby's first hot mic.
It was baby's first hot mic. It was crazy. Like, come back, dude, the amount of, you don't know what's happening. And so you're just talking, right?
They'll tell you, don't worry.
I have okay.
Unless you're saying something good.
Here's a interesting conversation to be had here. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb all hours of the day. Okay. If you want to call me, right, you're not going to reach me. It just sends you straight to voicemail. And my notifications don't go off or anything like that. And here's the reason why. I just have so many notifications on my phone of Twitter, CBS, ESPN, text, just email. There's just so much going on my phone that if I did not have it on Do Not Disturb, my phone would be going off 24/7. It would be going off all day. I'm honestly the type of person that I probably could use two phones. Probably would be nice to have
What are you, a drug dealer?
No, I'm not. Drug dealers don't have two phones. I've met people in broadcasting that have two phones.
They're drug dealers. That's what I was told growing up.
No,
two phones? That's drug dealer.
That's not true. My dad had two phones. He wasn't a drug dealer. Well, actually, that's a good point, Josh Hodson. I don't know if my dad wasn't a drug dealer. I mean, the only drugs that he would be...
I saw this documentary about a science teacher. He's a chemistry teacher, actually, who got... he was diagnosed with cancer. And to afford the treatments for said cancer, he cooked and distributed his own methamphetamines.
Okay.
Yeah, went under the name Heisenberg.
Wow, you should...
It was a riveting documentary, very long.
You should write a TV series about that.
I've thought about it. I get laughed out of the office.
That seems like a real moneymaker,
yeah.
too. You get laughed out of the office. You know what? You should actually write a show about an office and
an office. What a great setting.
And just have a lot of interacting, funny inside jokes, and maybe have a boss that's absolutely ridiculous that is a hyperbole of some of the worst things that everybody else's boss in America does.
And everyone just has this bit where they just look at the camera like, can you believe this?
Oh,
guy?
So is it like a documentary within a show? That's a great dude. You're cooking with peanut oil.
Here we go. I got ideas.
But
what are we talking about?
What I was gonna say though is that when you have a hot mic situation, everybody and your mother who knows you and is listening to the show, which was including my mother, is texting you and telling you, hot mic. They're getting calls. You're on a hot mic. But the problem is that my phone is on Do Not Disturb.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not receiving these texts until about a minute and a half goes by, and your co-host goes, "Yeah, we got a call. We're on a hot mic the entire time." So that was something. That was not enjoyable. Hopefully, it'll never happen again.
I'll protect you.
Well, I turn myself off, and then you tell me you don't turn me on. Why don't you turn me on, Josh?
I'll turn you off. I won't turn you on.
Okay. I think your wife would appreciate that. Alrighty. Championship weekend, baby. I think that some people are like, this is like the best weekend in football. I think last weekend is the best weekend in football.
That's what Shafe was saying.
The divisional round is so much better than the championship round. Because the divisional round, you get 2 more games. And the stakes aren't as high, clearly, but they still are very high. I mean, you can't You can't convince me that there is so much of a greater stake in the championship game than the divisional game. Like, I mean, obviously there is a bump up, but it's not, 2 times the stress. Granted, if my team was playing in this game, which God, they should.
Very close.
Yeah, Josh, they were very close. I'm still not over it.
It's going to happen for you.
I don't.
And we'll be here.
Like what? Me getting over it? Or me making the NFC Championship?
The Bears making the NFC Championship.
Do you really believe that when you say that?
I don't not believe it. It's certainly possible. I mean, the Commanders made it last year.
Eric writes in, but they ain't. Ha ha ha. Go Rams. That's what I love about sports. Dude, leaving the studio yesterday with John Bishop, he threw a jab at me. Walking out.
Like a literal jab? Like
no, not a boxing jab.
Oh, like a barb.
Like, yeah, like he made fun of the Bears. Because he was saying that they might cancel school tomorrow. Or did they cancel school today? I don't. Oh, did they? Yeah. Okay. I don't have a kid, so I wouldn't know.
That's good at this point in your life.
Thanks, Josh. Trying to shoot for that. Not having a kid, by the way.
Yeah.
No, what I was saying though, is that walking out of here, of course, with my back turned to him, he threw a jab at me because he said this. He goes, "Yeah, the school might get canceled tomorrow." And I go, what, tomorrow? Tomorrow's cold? Tomorrow's just bear weather. And John Bishop responded with, "Well, if it's bear weather, that means the Rams will be in Omaha winning a football game."
Whoa.
How rude of him to do that. The Rams will be playing football tomorrow.
I think the more obvious joke would have been bear weather. Isn't that like Cancun?
That would have been a good one. Do you just everyone want to email in their favorite Chicago Bears jokes and I'll just read them on the air? All righty. Let's talk about not the first game of the day, but the first game I want to talk about. Seattle versus LA.
The better game.
Yeah, this is wildly interesting to me because Seattle's defense is electric. I mean, they're insane. You saw it against San Francisco, and that offense, I understand that they didn't have George Kittle, but even with the weapons that they do have and the coaches that they have, San Francisco's offense is still incredibly potent. Seattle absolutely locked them up. Sam Darnold, here's the one thing. You can keep telling me, wow, I can't trust Sam Darnold to win football games. Here's a hypothetical. What if Sam Darnold doesn't have to? Like what if he's just not needed to? What if they've just kind of figured it out? Like, hey, we got well, they don't have Charbonnet, but hey, we got Kenneth Walker. We can run the football now. We have a really, really good defense. We're going to control the football. We're going to take away the ball from the other team. Like, I think they'll need him in this game, right? At the same time, I think it's entirely possible with how this defense has been playing that may not be the case, where it's just like, hey, Sam, all we need you to do is score 17 points. That's all we realistically need you to do. Just get the ball in the end zone 2 times. That's doable. Sam Darnold, from a lot of his shortcomings in his previous big games, he can do that. Okay, he's capable of doing that because that would be the bare minimum. So Seattle's defense is awesome. Devon Witherspoon, incredible. Cornerback DeMarcus Lawrence has been killing it this year. Leonard Williams has been awesome on the edge. You cannot forget about Nick Amenwari. He's their hybrid linebacker safety who can come down to the box and just absolutely stuff runs. I mean, he is a matchup nightmare from a defensive perspective. And, they just got a really, really good defense there in Seattle. But you got to look at this Rams offense, right? This Rams offense has Matt Stafford, has Puka Nacua, who I think Puka Nacua is the best wide receiver in the NFL. I don't know if that's a hot take or anything like that, but I think this season.
I can't tell anymore.
I think this season specifically, he has passed Jamar Chase. He's not in the playoffs. He's passed Justin Jefferson. He's not in the playoffs. Puka Nacua, great route runner. Man, he's so physical. He's just such a physical wide receiver. Just attacks the football, takes it away from you. He's the type of wideout that I think any quarterback would love throwing to, because if you get it into his general catch radius, you're going to have a chance. I mean, he's had so many big plays in this playoffs. So you got Nacua. You got what I think is the best red zone threat in the NFL right now in Devontae Adams. You have Matthew Stafford, where, yes, he's old and he's got a bad back, but he's been there, done that before. Won a game, tough game in cold weather last week against Chicago. This atmosphere obviously is going to be insane in front of the 12th man in Seattle. I will tell you this right now. None of what I just talked about matters, though. Okay. Rams defense is pretty good. Seattle's offense is pretty good. Rams defense can make plays. Seattle's offense can make plays. The Rams offense is incredible. I think they're second in EPA in offense. Seattle's defense is absolutely great. Those two teams are going to clash. Here's the difference in this game. It's special teams. Special teams will determine the difference in this football game. The Rams are one of the worst special teams in the league. They have the 5th lowest field goal percentage, 78.6.
The thicker kicker.
Their opponent returning yards this season was 19.8. That was 6th worst in the NFL. Their punt net average this season was second to last in the NFL. Their overall punt average was in the bottom third of the league. You go ahead and you look at Seattle special teams. I don't have to go too far to tell you that last week Rashid Shaheed scored a 95-yard return touchdown. I mean, he was insane. They've averaged 15.6 yards per punt return this season, 27.9 yards per kick return this season. Their opponent kick return average sits at 24.2 yards. They're one of the best teams at not kicking the ball out of the end zone. According to this is the hidden yardage battle on sportsorca.com, kind of compiled all of the numbers of who's had the most positive and negative punt, special teams yard differential this season. Seattle is second in the league in hidden yardage this year. They have gained the most hidden yards in the NFL through their punt return and their kick return. Their special teams is just on an entirely different level than LA. And so if we're looking at these two teams, I think they're built very differently, but they're very even in terms of the strengths that they have on different sides of the ball. You're at this point, right? We're talking about the two best teams in the NFC in Seattle and LA, right? And so the difference between the two is narrow, right? What is going to give you that edge? Well, I think the biggest edge could be given is in special teams. So I like Seattle in this one a lot. And by the way, yes, am I biased because I have a Matt McFuture on the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl? You're damn right I am.
There it is.
But I gave you good analysis there. I showed my work.
They played 2 times this year. Total difference in points is like 1 point.
I know
between the two.
It'll be a very, very close game. But I think also too. I mean, this is just going to be a hell of a game. I would be very disappointed if this turned out to be a big blowout. Like, I'm very much looking forward to
our last chance at a good football game this year.
By the way, real quick, the NFC West in 2025, I haven't done my full research on what their competition would be, but I'll go out on a limb and say they are like the greatest division of all time football.
Whoa.
So you have the 2 finalists in the NFC in Seattle and in LA. 3 of the 4 teams in that division made it to the divisional playoffs, and all of them won 12 or more games this season. That is ridiculous. So the Niners had a 70% win percentage, the Rams had a 70% win percentage, and the Seahawks had an 82.4 win percentage. Their 3, and I don't care that the Cardinals were terrible this year. Their 3 records combined this season were 38-11. And 3 of them were the final 4 in the NFC, and 2 of them are in the final 2, and 1 of them will be the representative of the NFC in the Super Bowl. One of the greatest divisions of all time. All right, let's go to the other game. I don't know what to tell you about Jarrett Stidham. I understand that that's the story of this game. I get it. He hasn't played football in like 2 years. He started in his career 4 times. He's 1-3 in those starts. His career stats, not that they matter all that much, but 59% completion percentage, 8 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. His QBR, he doesn't even have an average QBR. He hasn't played enough quarterback to have an average QBR in his career. So this is a guy who's had less than 200 passing attempts, but he's 29 years old. He's been in the league for 6 seasons. He hasn't played since 2023, but the vibes and belief from his team and his coaching staff is that he can go out and he can get the job done. And they believe in him. And clearly Vegas is kind of buying it, considering the fact that Denver is playing with a quarterback who hasn't played in 2 years, and yet the line is 4.5. Like with a team like New England, who has played, they are what the record shows, right? I mean, they've been one of the best teams in the league all season long. To be playing a team like that and only have a 4.5 point, cushion is quite something. Also, too, like very sneakily, like the one team that in this kind of last 26 years of New England football that they haven't really been able to beat is the Denver Broncos. They're 0-4 in my lifetime in the playoffs. You have the Jake Plummer game. You have the noodle arm Peyton Manning game, with that incredible 2015 defense with Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware and Aqib Talib and Danny Trevathan. You remember Danny Trevathan, Josh Johnson? What just a solid linebacker in the NFL.
Vaguely.
Super Bowl champion. Chris Harris Jr., can't forget him. And TJ Ward. That defense is awesome. Denver does not have that defense this year, okay?
They have a defense.
They have a very good defense. They have the second best defensive player in the NFL in Patrick Surtain, the second, and they have 68 sacks in the season. That leads the league. New England has given up the ninth most sacks this year. I'm going to say it. I like Denver. I like Denver a lot in this game. Now, here's the point, Josh. I could get got by Jarrett Stidham. But I'd rather get got trying not to get got by betting on the Patriots. So to avoid getting got, I'm okay with getting got as long as I get mine, though. You feel me?
I think I know what you're saying. That was quite a web you just wove.
Like
there.
I would rather bet on the Broncos being like, oh, I'm going to outsmart the system, as opposed to
Mike Tyson.
Yeah. As opposed to betting on the Patriots being like, everybody's idiots. Why the hell would you bet on Jarrett Stidham, right? Like I'd rather
plus 200 money line.
I would. Woof.
Dog of the day.
Woof. By the way, see the score of the Bulls game yesterday?
Oh, did we hit?
We hit, baby. Dog of the day cashed.
Hell yeah.
Plus 280, 3-6. I'm telling you right now. So here's why. Drake Mays had 6 fumbles in 2 games this playoffs. He's been sacked 10 times. He's thrown 2 interceptions to his 4 touchdowns. He has not played good football. This New England offensive line, especially on the left side of the offensive line, has been lacking. Denver's going to get after him. New England just does not have the deep ball threat and really anybody to challenge Patrick Surtain. Yes, are you worried about Riley Moss? Absolutely. We'll have to monitor that matchup greatly. Does New England really have, it's going to be Booty versus Moss? Okay, that's I don't know. I think I'd rather take the Denver run game, and Jarrett Stidham's ability to kind of just manage the game. And and also too, if I wanted a coach and an offensive play caller who can manage something like this, who can manage having a backup quarterback, who could call plays in a way that puts them in the best scenarios possible and doesn't put them in situations to make an overabundance amount of mistakes, I would pick Sean Payton over a lot of coaches. So I like Denver. I think they're going to get after May. I think they're going to make May make mistakes. I think Stidham is going to do just enough to get them over the hump. I don't think that this is going to there's no way, shape, or form I think this is going to be anything but a 3-point game. I think this is going to be very close. I think it's going to be highly contested.
I'll meet you there. I don't think this will be like a huge blowout.
No, I just don't see a scenario where this New England team is able to take the top off of this Denver defense. And New England had the opportunity to show me that, against the Houston Texans, who is a great defense, a defense that I would say is better than the Denver Broncos, and they didn't. And frankly, you were kind of sitting there during that New England game being like, man, if CJ Stroud wasn't awful,
yeah,
they lose that game. Like the Houston Texans defense did way more than enough to win that game. So it's like you're asking Jarrett Stidham, don't turn the ball over 5 times.
Exactly.
Don't throw 4 interceptions.
Exactly.
Because even if you throw 4 interceptions, because of our solid D and our ability to get to the quarterback, we're still going to have a shot in this game. So I'm gonna roll with it, man. I'm gonna be maybe on the opposite side of common sense. But I'm looking at the matchups and I'm looking at the numbers and I'm looking at the headsets and I'm looking at the coaching staffs, and I just think that Sean Payton kind of closes the gap in between the disadvantages that the Broncos will have. So I'm gonna roll with Denver. I'm gonna roll with it, and yeah, I'll spoil it. They're my dog of the day, dog of the weekend. I'm gonna take them. So we have to start doing math on dog of the day to see how much money I've lost at this point.
Oh no,
I know it's been bad, but we're 3-6. We had a big one yesterday. Who are your picks, Josh Odson? Before we go to break here,
I am. I'm betting on a Patriots Rams Super Bowl.
Okay,
this year.
Okay.
I think ultimately that NFC game comes down to quarterback play, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna buy into the narrative and take Matt Stafford in that matchup. And I just don't see Stidham getting it done.
All right. We are on opposite sides of the aisle, Josh Odds.
Yeah.
I am going with a Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl. You got Rams Pats. I got Seahawks Broncos. That means it'll probably end up being Patriots Rams.
Yeah.
Is what it's or no. Well, wait, you'll
get one and I'll
get one. Yeah. So what? Probably Broncos Rams.
Broncos Rams. Rams would be an 8.5-point favorite.
Yeah. And I would probably bet them.
You can right now.
On the early line?
Yeah. Game bet is void if the game doesn't take place.
I don't bet early lines. I do a lot of foolish things in my life. I don't do that. Do you know who doesn't do foolish things? Brian Christopherson of 247 Sports. He's coming up next on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Join Middays with Matt and Unsportsmanlike Conduct on the road for the annual Pink Out broadcast live from the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge on Friday, January 30th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Joined by coaches Greg McDermott and Jim Flannery ahead of next Saturday's Pink Out games at the CHI Health Center. Stop by and donate for the paper supply drive to help raise awareness and support for the Hope Lodge Omaha, located at 8030 Farnham Drive. Join the fight against cancer. I forgot to mention at the top of the hour, it's the bitching hour. If you want to email us at the Equitable Bank inbox, Matt at 1620 The Zone, Josh O at 1620 The Zone. What you want to bitch, moan, and complain about, you want to tweet at us too, at Matt McMedia and at producer Josh. We welcome in one of our favorites from 247 Sports. It's Mr. Brian Christopherson. Brian, you have anything to complain about? This is the moment. This is the hour.
Oh, yeah, I always have stuff to complain about.
Okay, go ahead. The floor is yours.
No. It's not going to be good radio because I was just thinking a day or so ago about how I'm going to not be that type of person.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not lecturing you. No, like, I mean, it was just like, man, you beef too much in your head about stuff. This thing is wronged you. That thing's wronged you. I'm just not going to go there for a while. And so I'm not supposed to answer that right now. I want to.
Look at you and your self-discipline. You're making.
But yeah, people who drive only 77 in the left lane.
Yes.
When you got to really roll.
Yes.
But no, I'm not. I don't want to go there though.
No, I won't. No. Use your anger.
People who walk too slow across crosswalks when you're waiting to turn.
Yes.
These are all like in a car, but I have others.
So I'll give you one kind of adjacent to what you're talking about. If I hold the door open for you, right, and you're kind of far away, you don't have to run, okay? Don't run. Don't run into the door because you make me feel bad because now I feel like I'm rushing you. When I open the door, take your time. Just walk through the door, dude. Don't worry about it.
No, I get you on that one. That's correct. That should be a walk to the door by the person.
Yes.
If they're able-bodied, especially if you're younger or you feel like you're still in good shape, if you're middle-aged, the age I am, a nice pep rally jog though across the crosswalk never hurt anybody.
I couldn't agree more.
Or just a little pickup of your step. But for what you're speaking of, yes, that should be a walk because otherwise you feel bad about the moment you're holding the door open when it should be a moment where you're like, man, I'm a great person. Like, look what I'm doing right now for the other individual. Yeah.
You and me are on the same wavelength. Brian Christopherson. Speaking about walking, Braden Frager is having a tough time doing that. He rolled his ankle against Washington. By the way, I thought that joke would land a little bit better. How big of an impact do you think it really is for this team in the short term? Because in the long term, it seems like he's coming back. It's a sprain. X-rays came back negative, no break. He's going to be fine. But just in the short term, kind of in this next 3-game stretch, which, by the way, is a tough one, right? Minnesota, Michigan, Illinois. In the short term, how do you think this affects the Huskers?
I mean, it could be meaningful. I mean, tomorrow it's possible at 1:30 after that game is already over, since it starts in brunch, that we're talking about how you lack, like that. I mean, he's capable of giving you 20 sometimes off the bench, but he's a finisher. Like, he's a guy for a freshman who feels really comfortable in crunch time, as we've seen. Like, I mean, think about like at the Ohio State game where they're, it's a 2-point game, crowd's kind of going crazy. Nebraska highlights him with the ball, and he just sort of battles his way to the basket for the and one with 30 seconds left. Against Indiana, he was similarly good, like in kind of putting the foot on the neck of Indiana. And so it's possible in one of these upcoming games, however many he misses, that we look back and say, Frager could have been the difference. But I'm also not ready to just write that script and say that's the way it's going to be with this squad, because every time something sort of popped up where people have doubted, they seem to have a pretty good answer. So I think in the short term, I know Jared Garcia is like the hot name, like, he's going to have his minutes upgraded, and there's probably some truth to that. But I think as much as anything, the other 6 guys are going to probably, like, take Cale Jacobsen. Maybe he has to go from 20 minutes to 25 minutes, or something like that. Like, you're going to have to probably upgrade some of those guys 4 to 5 minutes. Will that affect them too, where they have more weight on their shoulders and maybe they're not as fresh late? That's possible.
Yeah.
I will say, though, the one thing, Matt, that this team's really good at, they're well conditioned. Like Indiana, they were better conditioned than them, and it showed late. And so obviously that's going to get tested more here, maybe in the next couple games.
How has the balance act been between this is fun and this has gotten really serious? Because I think in the beginning of the year when they went, before the Illinois game, maybe even before the Creighton game, you were thinking, okay, yeah, like, hey, this is cool. Like, longest winning streak in the country. Like, haha, remember when we won the crown? That was cute. Like, yeah, we got a 14-game winning streak. Like, look at you, Duke. You guys can't compete with that. And then they beat Illinois and you go, oh crap. And then you're like, they play Michigan State and you're like, this is going to be a tough one. And then they beat them and you're like, whoa, this is no longer fun. This is, still is fun, but we've turned the corner. Like, what's the balance been between, hey, this is an incredible run, and holy crap, this team, like, they should make it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Matt. It, I still think it's definitely fun.
Oh, without a doubt.
But there's been these weird shifts. I'm with you every step here. There's these weird shifts in sort of your brain where, like, it was a week or two, maybe a week ago, where I started, like, I'm looking at the Big Ten standings, right? And I'm like, why wouldn't Nebraska be in this race to win this conference? Like, why, you start to, like, figure, like, how that could work out. How many games of the 20 do you need to win to be the champion of the league? Like, that would be as cool as being like a 1 or 2, one seed's its own thing, but, like, if you're a 2 or 3 seed, that's awesome. But, like, think about that. If Nebraska were the Big Ten champions in basketball, and, like, the idea of going through a whole gauntlet and getting to there, and there's a lot of work to do, but I'm just saying that we are to that spot now where you start to, like, in your head, like, think about, like, yeah, you need to rest these guys and you have your eye on March, but it's also like, hey, that game at Michigan is, like, huge in the standings, for tiebreaker purposes and stuff like that. And so that's where it's become more intense in a way, like a good intense, where we're talking about the stuff like they talk about at Michigan State and Illinois, and Purdue, like, going into the season. Like, and so it's an interesting breakdown within your brain of going from, like, just like, wouldn't it be awesome if they won one tournament game in March and we built a statue for the head coach after that, to, like, no, this team should have more legs to it when we get there, actually.
Well, and it's funny, like, too, Brian, I'll just add another layer on top of that, because you're looking at the Big Ten standings. I'm looking at Bracket Matrix, and they're top of the 2 seed. They're the top 2 seed right now, according to 84 brackets that have all been come together and been averaged. I've said this to myself, and I've said this on the air. Do you know who wins national championships? 1s and 2 seeds. And that's where Nebraska's at. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, all right, you're still having a good time. That Michigan game, if they go on the road and beat Michigan, like, I'll be the first to say it, and that's an if, right? That's a real if. But then you got to start having more than what if they win the Big Ten championship, right? Because that's what those types of teams do. And it's so crazy to have those convos about this basketball program, because they've never won an NCAA tournament game, and you want to stop yourself from falling into the pit of over expectations. At the same time, every time they play, they meet them, which is it's been absolutely incredible to watch. Let's talk about a team, though, that hasn't met those expectations. Nebraska football. Your just overall grade on this offseason. I called it this is kind of the first trimester of the offseason, if you will. You've kind of gone through the hiring and firing of coaches, and you've gone through the transfer portal acquisitions. This kind of time from when they were beaten against Utah up until now, January 23rd, your grade for Nebraska's offseason is what?
I'm usually a friendly grader, probably, Matt. I'd give them a B.
All right.
I like the DC hire on paper. I like that he's been a builder everywhere he's gone. I like that he's young and hungry, that he's switching up the scheme somewhat. And I like that he's bringing people he's comfortable with, that it's going to be his, and that matters a big deal. And some of that actually probably connects somewhat to the special teams coordinator discussion and Eckler not being here anymore. That would be it's something where you would dock him because, and it's not, I realize like Rule offered him an extension and a raise there, and he didn't take it. So that at some point, like, what do? You put it in front of him, and the DC picks his guys, and you move forward. And so I'm of that mind, but I also can say that while having a second thought that Mike Eckler has been really good at running special teams wherever he's been for at least 5 years, especially at Tennessee when you look at his numbers there. So that's a loss. I thought on the portal, there's a lot of good stuff. The D-line's the one position where I think they're probably going to get knocked a little bit going through the offseason as we talk about it, and that's fair until we see what happens. I love what they did at quarterback given the situation they were in, and I love what they did at linebacker and the offensive line, and I like Jeep Wade. So those are there are some pluses there, and that's why I give them a B, because I like a lot of things that have happened, but it's those worry spots that has it at a B that some would say, well, actually that should be your grade should be a C because of these question marks, and I get that too.
I've talked a lot on this show about the high school aspect of Trey Taylor, announcing that he's leaving Carmel Catholic High School and he's actually going to go to Lincoln. He's going to live in Lincoln and then travel to Millard South to play football. But I haven't really talked about the college impact on his decisions. From your perspective, Brian, is this a big deal just for the University of Nebraska in a way to have Trey close to them and maybe familiarize him a little bit early before he ends up being a Husker, to have him in the area? Is that a big needle mover for you, or is that just kind of a nice thing to have?
It's I think it's a needle mover.
Okay.
I'm glad you've covered all the high school ramifications, because that's definitely a part of the story, and I get it, why there's some difficulty for some in like what's happening right now in sports, really at college and the high school level. The thing about Trey Taylor being in town is, yes, there's the peer recruiting aspect, but he's also like right around his coaches that he's going to have in college. He can get down there for practices, and I just think it can actually be sort of like a redshirt season for him before 2027. That's how he described it, and I understand why he would put that label on it. So I think he'll get a lot out of being here as sort of a runway into his Husker career. And the one thing I'd say about Trey is, even though he's going to a powerhouse program within our state, he's a guy who has played at programs that have had to build themselves up from the mud. Like where he was at, as you know, they had won like 3 or 4 games 2 years ago, and he helped them get to the playoffs. So that's something people should know about his mindset. Like, he's not a guy who just goes and chases like, where's the powerhouse? I just want to be with those guys. I think this is just a situation where the powerhouse in our state happens to be down the road from where he thinks can really help him at the college level. So I like his mindset, and I think it's going to be a fascinating fall around here on Thursdays and Fridays, as like 15 media members are surrounding Trey Taylor after a Millard South game to discuss the night's what happened and all the events of the game.
Well, I think you're spot on, in terms of the fact that, like, Carmel hasn't really been that successful of a football program overall, before Trey got there, in all honesty. It's just kind of one of those things that, at least when I was, we played them all the time.
Yeah, you know it as well as anybody.
Yeah, I mean, when we played them all the time in high school, they were kind of, like the kids say, they were mid. They've had, they were respectable and they were competitive, but they never really were a threat. They weren't like a Mount Carmel or a Brother Rice or a Montini Catholic or a Loyola Academy. I know a lot of people who are in the world of recruiting know those schools really well, because those were the powerhouses. They weren't that at all, and Trey got there, and, they went on the road and they beat a Loyola Academy. That doesn't happen, man. Like people don't understand. Like that doesn't really happen a whole lot. Like they went ahead and they should have beat him. They put 54 on Montini. I don't know anybody who does that. So I like that you brought that up. Like he's not a front runner. I think he's just trying to give himself the best opportunity, in his opinion, to be great at Nebraska. And so I'm very curious as to how the coaching staff will look at it as well. Brian Christopherson, Huskers 247, always the best every Friday here at 11:30 on Middays with Matt. You're the best, BC. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Matt.
Of course. We will talk to you later. Brian Christopherson, giving us everything. I love multifaceted guests. I love guests that can give you a little bit of everything.
He'll go where you want to go.
I bet if we talked about horse racing with Brian Christopherson, he'd know a thing or two about the
He'd fake his way through it if he didn't.
You know, isn't that the key to life?
That's right.
Fake it till you make it. So they say. Coming up next, the battle for basketball. Is it in a court or is it on a court between Florida and Alabama? We will find out next on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
I'm Connor Happer. Join John Bishop, Josh Peterson, and myself for the Creighton Athletics Hour. Talking all things Blue Jays each week. It's the Creighton Athletics Hour Wednesdays. Start.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
You know who has a lot riding this weekend in the NFL?
I would say all 4 teams.
Okay, well, you're correct. Nailed it.
What were you thinking more specifically?
I was thinking defensive coaches looking for future jobs.
Oh,
Josh
okay,
Johnson.
okay.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it.
I was looking more toward the micro and how it'll affect the future of the hiring processes of the National Football League.
That's the beauty of the show. I'm a macro guy. You're a micro guy.
I'm a micro guy. Mick Micros in the morning, if you will. Now, I got a couple things macro about me, though. Anyway.
Hello.
Hey, now. That's why we're that type of show. The most type of that show.
You know, I think you're right. I can't fight it.
We're by default. It's just by default.
Okay. I'm okay with it if it's by default.
It's not reflection of you. It's more of a reflection of me and my inability to get a woman to love me.
Let's see, when you word it like that, it's sad.
Yeah, but then it's funny when you laugh at it.
Well, as long as you beat them to the laugh.
About defensive coaches. Part of the reason why I'm single, because she's sitting there being like, what are you thinking about? I'm like, well, you know, if Mike Vrabel and Mike McDonald both end up winning their NFC championship games, that means, or their championship games, that means that we'll have 2 defensive-based head coaches in the Super Bowl. When was the last time that happened? And she'll be like, Jesus, what have I done? Hasn't happened a lot off the top of my head. Well, probably Ron Rivera versus John Fox. Riverboat Ron. And Johnny.
I like
Foxy.
that guy.
I love, dude, Riverboat Ron is one of the best. Ron Rivera is in the long line of like, he should have been a Bears coach. A lot of people love Ron Rivera in Chicago. John Fox was a Bears coach. That went horribly. That's a great story about John Fox when he walked into the 2015 draft and he wanted to take Jamal Adams, and Ryan Pace told him, nope.
We're not doing that.
Taking Trubisky. Sucks to suck. I don't think it was 2015 draft. It was like, I forget the draft years. Would have been the 2017 draft. Told him, no, not Jamal. We're taking Mitchell from North Carolina. So, yeah, big deal though. We fall in love with hiring these sexy offensive mind head coaches with their X's and O's and orbit motions and 13 personnel. Mike McDonald and Mike Vrabel, if they were able to both get in the Super Bowl, would probably open up the eyes of a lot of owners of like, hey, we don't have to do what everybody else is doing. Like bringing in super smart defensive coaches who know how to establish culture is probably just as effective as getting a guy who can call plays.
Copycat league.
It is a copycat league, and sometimes you get the worst of the cats, and that's what happened to Miami.
Good way to put it.
I know. And when I mean worst of the cats, I'm not talking about Mike Wright. I'm talking about people. By the way, no, that was very good. Justin Jackson, the ball carrier. The worst of cats, though, is might end up being
Andy Katz.
No, not Andy. I like Andy.
We like Andy around here,
and we like Dan Katz as well. What I was talking about, though, is Mike McDaniel's getting an interview to be the Buffalo Bills head coach.
Yikes!
Which did Terry Pagula goes, wow, he took that crappy roster and beat us. We should hire him.
Okay, there might be a little something to that.
I don't know. I would love to see the psychological impact of what happens when your team gets their ass whooped by a bad team and whether or not you're willing to hire that coach when they eventually get fired, because obviously they did such a great job if they're no longer there. The Battle of Basketball tomorrow is what we're calling it, Florida versus Alabama. The Alabama Crimson Tide have gotten Charles Bediako to be on the roster, even though the Charles Bediako signed an NBA contract. And currently there's a temporary restraining order to allow him to play basketball for one game before his official court date on January 27th, which will be the battle for basketball. Because if they allow Charles Bediako to play the rest of the season, that means that teams are entitled to sign players who've already signed two-way NBA contracts who have eligibility remaining in the NCAA, and college basketball, as we know it, will essentially cease to exist. If the courts rule in Bediako's favor, it'll be the biggest Pandora's box maybe opened in sport history.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Go ahead.
As it relates to this. So he's eligible to play tomorrow.
Yes, because they got a Alabama donor who's also a judge to file a temporary restraining order.
Is he going to play?
Yes, Chuck is gonna play.
Many minutes?
I don't know many.
Okay.
But he's playing.
Okay.
He's gonna play. Todd Golden had a quote.
TV?
He goes, they were able to finagle it where they got a judge that's actually an Alabama donor to write a temporary restraining order. We're going to beat them anyways. If he plays, we'll beat them anyways.
Okay, I like that.
He then also went to go on and his opinion on the matter was this dude was on Alabama's team a couple of years ago in the NIL era. He was playing when you could make money off of your name, image, and likeness. Todd Golden goes, the dude had his opportunity to make money already. He didn't. There's been a lot of different coaches signing off. Stephen Pearl of Auburn was like, dude, this would change the what we know is to be true about college basketball if they were to allow him to play. So that'll be a big deal tomorrow. That's a big sporting event where it won't get the college football playoff number of 30 million, which is what Indiana and Miami did. 30 million people watched the national championship game, which was actually the most watched national championship game since 2015. 34 million people watched Ohio State then. But they'll pop a big number tomorrow between Alabama and Florida. That game, I can look for it right now, Josh.
I have Tennessee playing Alabama tomorrow at 7:30 on ESPN.
Let's see. You have Tennessee playing Alabama.
Yeah.
What am I talking
I don't know. Maybe the Florida coach just made comments.
Oh, I'm a dummy. He plays Tennessee tomorrow.
Okay.
Florida, they play Florida on February.
Florida hosts Auburn at 3 o'clock.
Thank you for correcting me. But at the same time,
I was intrigued. I was like, okay, well, I might need to put this on what to watch. I didn't.
Saturday. So tomorrow they play 7:30 on ESPN Tennessee. That will be a big game to watch. My mistake.
Just means more.
It just means more. It always just means more. Coming up next, we talk about a guy where it does mean a little bit more to him, Troy Dannen. Here on Middays with Pat.
Season is right around the corner, and season
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Don't you hate it when you're on Twitter and you find a really good quote and you're like, I'm going to use this for my radio show, and then you lose it?
Sounds like a very specific problem.
Tom Izzo on NATO, it's bringing back Charles Bediako. I just get mad. Coaches are doing what they want to do. I get a kick out of it, though. Some of them are coaches that are calling and complaining a year ago about it. I think that one supersedes the other jokes the way it went. Utterly ridiculous. Tom Izzo. The voice of reason, I guess.
Sure seems like it.
Out of all the people. Just, he's just very, I love Izzo. He's just he's just a kind of fired up guy. Like, I wouldn't think that he'd be the cooler heads prevail dude, I didn't really mark him down for that role in this saga. Leader of the locker room, Tom Izzo. Do you know who's trying to be a leader of the locker room? He's trying. I think he's actually doing a pretty decent job of it. He's keeping a lot of things together. His name is Troy Dannen. Dannen. Troy Dannen went ahead and went on the Husker Sports Nightly radio show yesterday and talked to Kyle Crooks and to all of his constituents, which are the Nebraska faithful, about what the current standings are of college sports, NIL, rev sharing, settlements, and just eligibility and all the crazy things that are happening in college sports in general. I mean, this one that we talk about, Charles Bediako, is kind of I wouldn't even call it the tip of the iceberg. I mean, it's the entire iceberg at this point, where we're allowing former, college athletes who've signed professional contracts to come back and play college sports. That's erroneous. That's crazy. That stands for everything against we know college sports to be. You can't just, go and declare to be a professional and then come back because you want to make more money. That isn't just rattling the system. That essentially breaks the system. And so Troy Dannen went ahead and talked yesterday to everybody and kind of laid out what we need in college sports.
Fundamentally, until there's some type of an antitrust protection that allows us to govern, that allows us to actually take these things that are happening where they're pretty obvious rule violations. Some of the things we've seen from NIL contracts or whether they are indeed NIL contracts, they're pretty obviously violations of the rules that nothing seems to be happening until we get the ability to govern. It feels like we're in this Groundhog Day.
Yeah, so Dan is essentially saying, look, until we can figure out a way, whether it be through Congress or any other, point of avenue of ability to do it, until we have this antitrust exemption where we can make the rules and govern the rules and decide what's wrong and what's right and how long players can be in a certain, until they can make the decisions that actually matter, you're going to have every year, every cycle, every process of just stupider and stupider things happening because nobody has their hand on the wheel. And nobody can look Nate Oates in the eye and say, get the F out of here, man. What do you mean you're bringing in a guy who signed in an NBA contract? If you had a good system with a governing body and somebody to lead it, we'd slap these things down immediately when they happen. No, DeMond Williams, you cannot enter the transfer portal after you signed a contract with your team. No, Darian Mensah, you cannot enter the transfer portal and leave Duke after you signed a contract with them. No, Xavier Lucas, you cannot unenroll in Wisconsin, move to Miami, enroll in Miami, walk onto the football team, and then be given money. No, you can't do that. But because we don't have a system, because we don't have a governing body, which has to do with these antitrust exemptions, we can't do any of that. Then Dannen was, kind of his point in the beginning of his about 10-minute first segment conversation with Kyle Crooks was this is kind of the most simple and straight line through things, right? We go ahead, we go through Congress, we get this antitrust exemption, we go ahead, we make a governing body, college sports stays college sports as we know it, right? You have different conferences, different leagues, so on and so forth. Teams definitely have a discrepancy in resources, but and that definitely determines things, but it's not like the the magnitude of things are as far as they can be if we went with no, league essentially. Then he said this 1 minute answer, which was really interesting to me.
Oh, I think there's a little bit of provincialness that happens. I think if the Big Ten says, I want to do this, everybody says, well, the Big Ten, if you want to do this, then it must be bad for us. And same thing with the SEC and if the Big 12 wants this, well, it must be bringing everybody down to there's lots of that mentality. I think finding the path to get this done, I think everybody agrees what that solution needs to be, but finding the path, what is the route to get it done? The 4 power commissioners who I know really, really well. I know all the commissioners from my other responsibilities along the way, really good people, vested strong interests in getting some resolution. We all have to, as institutions, get rid of the provincialness. And never forget this. There's one way to get rid of all antitrust, and that is you don't put any rules or any regulations, any caps, any on anything.
Okay. So essentially what he's talking about there is the coming together of powers of the ACC, the SEC, the Big 12, and the Big 10, basically understanding, hey, we have to all do collectively, not just what is good for us individually, but we have to do what is right for everyone collectively. And that means sacrificing things and coming together and not doubting, why we want certain things brought to the table. Then we have to do that. Okay. And, Dannen kind of discussed maybe the possibility of the conferences being their own leagues. You have the Big Ten League, you have the SEC League, you have the ACC League. This isn't, by the way, anything that we haven't seen in sports before, right? I mean, very famously, the NFL and the AFL, 2 different leagues playing the same sport. You come together, you combine, you make the Super Bowl. And he brought that up, as a potential example. But mainly what he's saying, hey, is that, look, if we're going to come together and fix this the way that we know college sports really, keep the core of what college sports really is. If we're going to fix this, if we're going to put it all together, we have to come together as a collective unit of power conferences plus Notre Dame to get this done. But in the last 9 seconds, he said this, and this really got me.
And never forget this. There's one way to get rid of all antitrust, and that is you don't put any rules or any regulations, any caps, any on anything.
Never forget this.
And never forget this.
Never forget it. He said it in a different tone. He said it in a way where he wasn't, saying this is what I want to do. He wasn't saying this is obviously what I want to do, but he says it in a way.
And never forget this. There's one way to get rid of all antitrust, and that is you don't put any rules or any regulations, any caps, any on anything.
Just a quick little 9-second, hey, you want a quick little straight line through it all? You don't want to worry about, having to get an antitrust exemption. You don't want to worry about the provincialness of everybody trying to do one thing for another and everybody having their own self-interest. Never forget it. Never forget that the one thing we can do is just say, screw it all. You know what? There's no cap. There's no limitation of resources. There's no rules. There's nothing. We can just go ahead and we can just play ball. And
the only rule is that there are no rules.
And it's interesting to me though, because yeah, I mean, essentially, and obviously I can't assume that you would just strip everything of the NCAA and, now you would be taking all semi-pro athletes, right? But I think what he's mainly talking about is, you don't have a salary cap, right? And you don't have a limit on the amount of resources that you can use. And there clearly is a divider between teams that have very little resources and because of their little resources can't compete. And there are teams that have massive amount of resources. And because of those massive amount of resources, they're the only ones that can win the championship. And what this reminds me of is we've kind of sprinkled it. We've kind of talked about it. We've kind of touched on it. But we are all used to calling the current state of college football NFL light, right? That's the buzz phrase right now. NFL light. College football is NFL light. But is it really? Because the NFL has a salary cap. Yeah, the NFL has a strict, hey, this is as much as you can spend on players. And if you spend more than players, you can, but there's certain rules and loopholes. And by the way, if you spend more, eventually you're going to have to pay for it back, and it's going to hurt you. We've seen that happen a lot of times. The NFL also, there's not really recruiting, right? Everybody gets 7 picks. They get awarded 7 picks, and you have the same pool of players to pick from. That doesn't exist in college, okay? Not everybody is entitled to getting 20 athletes, and you can only get 20 athletes, and then we fairly distribute them, or we try to fairly distribute them. No.
You think Josh Allen would have stayed in Buffalo last offseason?
No, absolutely not.
I got to get the hell out of here. There's nothing around here.
So we say NFL led and NFL led. Well, no, I mean, the NFL, there definitely is some teams that have more resources than other teams, and it gives them slight advantages. But more than anything, the NFL is a skill league, okay? If you're going to win in the NFL, you just got to be smarter, better at evaluating, better at developing, better at coaching than the other people more than anything, right? College football is not that way. College football, you can go ahead and you can play a team that, yeah, they might be better at evaluating and better at developing, and they might, have smarter coaches. But if your roster is worth $30 million and their roster is worth $2 million, it doesn't matter. It's one of those things where your resources and dominance of talent can just overcome anything. We've seen that happen all the time in college football. And so when Dannen says,
and never forget this, there's one way to get rid of all antitrust, and that is you don't put any rules or any regulations, any caps, any on anything.
Sounds like European soccer to me. Whoa. That's what it sounds like.
This is America.
Sounds like European soccer. It just sounds like, you clearly have like the 10 teams that are willing to spend the most money, and those teams are constantly competing at the top of the league, and those teams are constantly competing for championships. And all the other teams they're either in the middle and they have their kind of one-off years where they're ultra competitive and they make good moves and they can compete at the top. But mainly it's just kind of the same 8-9 teams every single year. And then everybody else at the bottom, what they're doing is they're kind of just competing to eventually get up to the top league, to stay in the top league so they can have some prestige and people can care about them and they have relevance so they can make more money. But mainly when they get great players, those kind of lower middling tiers, you know what they do? They got to sell them to top teams. So the top teams always stay competitive. And so it's just interesting when Dannen says that, when he brings that up very intentionally. Hey, you want to get rid of all of this. You don't want to worry about any of this. You just say, hey, to hell with it all. Nebraska would be one of those teams that could be situated to be toward the top in terms of resources. You don't put a cap on anything. Nebraska would be one of those teams not at the top, but toward the top where, they can hang with the big boys financially. They can hang with the big boys in terms of how they run their finances at the athletic department. They can hang with the big boys in being competitive. And so, I wonder if you put a little truth serum into him, and you said, hey, Troy, because that interview with Troy Dannen, that wasn't him really giving fully his opinion on things. That was more so him laying out everything for you. He even went as far to say, if I knew what I knew now about the settlement, I probably wouldn't have agreed to it. Oh. Because there have been things that haven't been as beneficial when he signed on that he assumed, or a lot of people thought they would be. And so
interesting.
It's one of those things where that was a very interesting comment at the very end. He was very, very diligent, super respectful, super informative, very intelligent, kind of walked you through everything, like did that in a way as a service. Did that as a service to people to be like, hey, this is what you need to know. Right? This is what we're going through. This is what we're battling through. I know a lot of people are concerned about it. This is what you need to know. But then at the very end, snuck in hey, just real quick, I haven't cut through any of this. We just say screw it all. Just screw it all, and we just kind of let it run. And Nebraska would not be in the top 5 of teams that would benefit from that. Would they be in the top 10? Probably not. Would they be around 10 to 20? Yeah. I mean, they run a financially. I mean, Nebraska makes a lot of money. I mean, They didn't happen this year, but pretty consistently, like they're like the only athletic department that has a women's sport that makes a profit. Football makes a ton of money. Basketball is raking in the dough right now in terms of the sellouts that they're getting at Pinnacle Bank Arena, right? I mean, look at the athletic. You remove football, okay? Let's just forget about football. Forget about football for 2 seconds. Nebraska athletics is killing it, man. Like, track and field has had some pretty good seasons. Wrestling was second in the national championship last year. Basketball is having the greatest season in program history this year. Nebraska women's basketball is currently ranked, right? You got baseball. They just won the Big Ten tournament last season. Went to the NCAA tournament. Like, Nebraska athletics is doing a great job. Back-to-back Big Ten champions in baseball.
Volleyball.
There you go. I even forgot about volleyball.
Although it didn't turn a profit this year.
Yeah, so what? They are still wagging, and they bring so much interest. It's one of those things where you look in the entire athletic department, it's like, wow, outside of football, this place is killing it. This place is doing a great job. It's just it caught me, Josh. It caught me that he would even mention it. And he kind of listened to it again. Am I off here on his tone a little bit?
And never forget this. There's one way to get rid of all antitrust, and that is you don't put any rules or any regulations, any caps, any on anything.
Threatening isn't the right word, but it walks up to the line. His tone walks up to the line of, we got a big red button we can hit.
Never forget it.
You don't think there's rules now. I can get rid of all the rules.
And never forget this.
Never forget it, Josh. Don't even dare let that exit your mind.
Chance tells me never forget all the time.
Which is very interesting. I'm going to be real with you. Yeah, he gave the extension to rule. Probably wasn't the best move in hindsight, considering the fact that it seemed like later on it didn't really seem like there was a good shot he was even going to Penn State.
That's the game.
Outside of that, kind of mess with him. I don't I mess with him in the fact that I don't know if he's a guy you really want to mess with,
In that shorter clip, that little 9-second one that we've been playing, he does not sound like a man that I would want to mess with.
He
right.
likes what he likes. He knows what he has to do. He's a little bit unapologetic about some of the things that he has to do, but his intention is always moving the program or moving the programs of the athletic department forward. Kind of like that. He's got a little bit of chutzpah, He's got a little bit of moxie in a way. He can play the nice guy, and he can talk to the people and be a little bit of a politician and try to explain to you why the things that they're doing are the things that they need that need to happen. But then he's also got he's got this little bit of an edge to him where it's like, when he wants it, he's going to get it. And you need that. I think you need that edge in you cannot be the nice guy in college sports right now.
Right.
You cannot be the pushover. You cannot be the guy to try and please everybody, because you know what? At the end of the day, it's all about you and your program.
Got to be a little bit of a hardo.
You do. You cannot sacrifice the well-being of your program to be the nice guy. And Troy Dannen comes off as a guy that knows when he's got to be nice. And in this clip, when he's kind of like, hey, never forget it, man. You just say to hell to everything with it, and that'll solve everything. And I know where I'm financially set within my athletic department, we'd be pretty well off with it. Nebraska has set themselves up from a financial perspective and from a support perspective where if all gloves are off, would they be, in the top 5, or would they be dominating all of college sports? No, they wouldn't be necessarily at Texas Tech, but they wouldn't be a pushover. They'd have a seat at the table. And they'd have a seat at the table because I think he brings a little bit of an edge. I kind of like it. We'll see what other decisions he makes.
He's edgy, man.
He's got it. Let me tell you what, man. Talk about a guy with an edge, man. I think of Troy Dannen, man. Knock on polyester if you're with me, man. Coming up next, we talk about the Baltimore Ravens and Austin Jacobsen up at 1. But before that, the odd news at 12:40 here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
Josh Odson. It's the odd news, baby.
It is. And fresh off of a national championship, Kurt Signetti is, once you get to a certain level and you can afford to pay for stuff, you no longer have to. He was answering a question the same way all natty night on Monday. I just want a beer. I just want a beer. I just want a beer. And well, he finally got that beer. We was later asked what kind of beer. At a certain point, people got tired of him asking for a beer, and they said, "Well, what kind of beer?" He shouted out a local brewery in Indiana, Upland Brewery. He said, "That's the beer I'll be sipping on." He was so thankful. He said, not to name drop, but it's a good little brewery back home. I like there. The brewery has responded by giving him a lifetime supply.
Oh my God.
Of his favorite brew.
Hell yeah.
From Upland, the Hoosier Game Day Lager. We are also announcing a lifetime supply of Upland beer for Coach Sig as a thank you for the post-game comments. Pretty unreal to see themselves on that stage. The runners of that brewery said, and a lot of the proceeds from the Hoosier Game Day Lager, like a lot of schools, goes to student scholarships through IU licensing, trademarks, NIL, et cetera, et cetera. So lifetime supply of Burr for Kurt Signetti. That's probably the greatest prize of all after this week.
Here's the best part. When he said, what brew did you drink? He had a little smirk when he said it, because he was like, yeah, I'm gonna plug like our,
I'm gonna say this.
Yeah. Like he knew like who butters his bread in a way. And that it would, because if he said, I'm gonna drink a nice cool Budweiser, like, Budweiser might send him a 6-pack and be like, hey, Coach Stig, congratulations.
It's not as great as that time Peyton Manning forced it in a post-game Super Bowl.
But to say the local brewery, that's a pro move. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because if I went on national TV and I go, yeah, I just want to thank Cross Strain, Bobby Cross,
We do want to thank Cross Strain.
We love Cross Strain
for their support of 1620 The Zone and Nebraska Athletics.
Yes, but if I went ahead, and I would be very smart to be like Cross Strain, baby, because I would love to get a lifetime supply. We should do that. A draft of your favorite Cross Strain beers.
Little Cornhusker Crusher.
Yeah, well, that is the Cabana Cruiser. Is the Cornhusker Crusher. The Fairy Nectar.
Classic.
Classic. Those two definitely top two. All right, odd news story 2, please.
One hot sauce company feeling a little spicy after thieves took their livelihood, and they're needing to bring the heat back to their business. Chris Anderson started Sheesh Hot Sauce about 2 years ago.
Okay.
We used to throw barbecues, make our own hot sauces, and guys would tell us, hey, you should bottle this. And so they did, and it's become quite the little industry there. Looks like this is in DC.
Okay.
Their van got stolen.
Oh, no.
On the streets, and it had $10,000 worth of hot sauce supplies in it. It was a blue 2003 Ford van, to be precise, if you happen to be listening to us in the Capitol Hill area. They just bought it. They just got all the new equipment and drums and things. I don't know how to make hot sauce, I'll be honest, but
it's just peppers.
They got a GoFundMe, and
whoa, are we gonna donate?
I don't think so. I just want to know what goes through. It had to be, van. I'm gonna take the van.
Yeah,
because I need wheels.
They didn't say, I need hot sauce.
I would think so, right?
Do you carry hot sauce on you?
No, I am not a hot sauce in my bag person. Oh my gosh, you're looking around.
Yeah.
You have hot sauce in your bag,
in my backpack. Yeah, I do.
Wow. What kind?
I have the Louisiana hot sauce in my bag.
Like the one drop Louisiana? Yeah.
The ones from Popeyes. I keep them in my backpack at all times.
Whoa. Okay.
I need to have.
I understand the need for this, but could you share with the audience where are you, Matt, when you need a package of hot sauce?
So here's the thing: you're gonna go in and everywhere, and they might have Tabasco. I don't really like Tabasco.
Oh, really? Okay.
You're gonna go somewhere they might have Tapatio.
Sure.
Don't really like Tapatio.
Oh, really? Wow.
I'm really only a Cholula.
Love Cholula.
And a Louisiana guy.
Okay.
So if they have, for example, I went to Trax, okay, over on 60th. Great time. I had to make sure that they had, the proper amount, proper hot sauce I wanted. So I walked in, and I had a couple of packets of Louisiana hot sauce in my pocket just in case, So you gotta, I like certain amount of hot sauces, so I just just in case they don't have the one that I like. I bring it myself. Is that a problem?
Here's what's going to happen.
Okay.
People are going to at you and email you and text the show and go,
Sure.
That's stupid. You're stupid. I want you to hear me when I say this.
All right.
I get it.
I thank you.
I get it.
Thank you.
I'm too nice to do this. I'm like, oh, whatever they got's fine. Whatever they got is not always fine.
It's not always okay.
Yeah.
It's not always okay. Especially if like you go to first off.
This is also,
all right,
by the way, this is also why the group thought your mac and cheese was too hot.
All right,
because you have certain.
Let's go ahead. Let's have this conflict. Okay. All right. And I don't think I'm insulting anybody we're sponsored by. All right. But just because instead of appetizers, you write shareables on your menu, or instead of writing burgers or sandwiches, you write handhelds, doesn't make you cool. It doesn't make you hip. It does not make up for the fact that your burger or sandwich is overpriced. Okay. It does not make me want to spend $18 on a burger that I could make for $6 on my own. Okay. I don't care that there's smoked Gouda with a little bit of white truffle oil. All right. When I go to a burger spot, I want an American. Get me a grilled onion, bacon, cheese, ketchup, burger. That's all I'm looking for. Okay. The same thing goes for when I go to a place like that and they have these like atomic bomb hot sauce or whatever, or these like, hey, yeah, this is a little local company back in Kentucky, and we actually went out there and we saw all of their hot sauce plant. We bought all these different agave hot sauces. Like, no, dude, just have Cholula or have Louisiana. That's all I asked for. Okay, so yeah, I carry hot sauce in my bag where I go. My mother carries a bottle of Cholula wherever she goes.
I love Cholula.
Cholula's so good. Do they do travel size because
they do? I've seen it at
small, I see the mini Tabascos.
Quick Trip. Quick Trip
really?
has packets of Cholula.
Oh, okay. I should pick those up. See, every time I go to Popeyes, I just go extra hot sauce. And I use 2 on the chicken, and I take the other 8 and I throw it into my backpack. And I keep them in a nice little pocket so they don't burst open and damage my computer. There you go. You know a little bit about me. Grunt the hot sauces?
Oh,
yes.
That's a good bit.
Yes.
Good bit.
Totally grunt the hot sauces.
The last story here in the odd news today. I'm not a fan of hyperbole, but I do think this might be the most bizarre robbery I've ever discussed.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's do it.
New Hampshire man enrolled as a student at Coastal Carolina University in South Carolina is facing burglary charges after he allegedly broke into homes near campus and poured queso dip on someone's television and furniture. Alec Arenello, 19 years young, of Windham, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Charged with 3 counts of first-degree burglary in connection with the break-ins.
Okay.
He has been released on bail. According to a police report, officers responded to a residence for a report of B&E, as the kids call it.
Breaking and entering?
That's right. When they arrived, police met with the caller, who told them that he and his girlfriend were sleeping when his girlfriend woke up to a man standing in their bedroom. The man noticed the caller and his girlfriend waking up and left the bedroom. Obvious reaction. The caller told the police he then locked his bedroom door, not knowing if the intruder might be armed. Eventually, they heard the intruder leave the residence. The caller woke up his roommates, who began checking the neighborhood. They located the intruder a few houses away in a black SUV. The intruder eventually left the neighborhood. The caller returned to his residence.
I'm processing all of this.
And found that the intruder had gone through his fridge, removing items including queso, eggs, and salsa. The man had poured queso on the TV and the furniture in the living room, smashed eggs on the floor, and flipped some of the furniture over. The caller said he believed the intruder was a CCU student, but said he doesn't know him and he was not invited over.
Doesn't know him?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you describe to me, guy walks in, dumps queso on TV, I think prank gone wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like at that point, when you see the girlfriend, you see the dude in the room, you'd be like I couldn't imagine of doing a B&E prank and realizing that it's not a prank. I'm just B&Eing, right? But clearly it doesn't seem like that occurred. Now, also too, So he leaves, he locks his door, he leaves the place. How do they spot the SUV like parked? Like, go ahead, just get the hell out of there. Okay. Secondly, why? Like, what's the motive?
The police believe that this CCU student broke into another home in the neighborhood and stole and I'm just reading it the way it's written in the news article, a marijuana bong.
Oh, okay. All right.
Another person in the neighborhood said that someone, let's be fair here, guilty, innocent until proven guilty.
There you go.
Had poured maple syrup over their TV.
That's a great bit.
A third person said someone tried to enter their home but could not get in because the doors were locked.
That's a great bit. Well, I don't encourage burglary. That sounds like a funny movie, though.
It's a little Wet Bandits-y in that, hey, we're gonna know every house you broke into because you poured something weird on the TV.
So that would be awesome. If that was, it would not be awesome. Wait. I'm not supporting crime. I'm not advocating.
We're out on crime.
But if crime were to happen, let's just say the crime's happening, whether or not I support it, and your calling card was taking condiments out of the fridge and pouring them on valuable items you could have stole, that is funny. That would be. But the problem I have with the Wet Bandit, a comparison here is, don't you have to steal something of value before you go ahead and flood the sink?
Theoretically, yes.
Like, because what he's
if
doing,
you want something out of the home, now would be the time before it gets soaked.
He's committing the crime before he actually gets the value.
Well, he's not taking anything.
See, I still doesn't answer.
It's just a B&E.
It still doesn't answer my question as to why. Why are you doing this?
Might not get an answer on that one.
Can you do a Michael Caine? Some people just want to see the world burn.
Yeah,
that was an awful Michael.
It was, but
Michael Caine,
you committed to it.
Is from the back. See, I can't do it.
I can't do a Michael Caine.
I can do it, John Gruden, man.
You can. I'll allow that impression.
Wow. Do we have a list of things you allow and not allow? The allow list. What if our bit is just that we just make a bunch of stupid lists?
Good bit.
Great bit. Do you know what's a great bit? Overcorrecting on your hiring for coaches. We're going to talk about that coming up next. Whoa, what a transition on Middays with Matt.
Now back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Omaha men's hockey takes on Colorado College. Tomorrow, puck drop will be at 7. We are giving away tickets to that game tomorrow. I believe we're giving away 2 pairs of tickets, if I'm not mistaken. Josh,
you are not mistaken.
2 pairs of tickets.
I got 2
for the game tomorrow. Here's what we're going to do. At 1:20, so stick around till 1:20. I'm going to give you a question. Okay, I'm going to give you a Omaha Maverick adjacent question.
Okay, don't make it too hard for these people.
No, it's gonna be decent.
Okay.
It'll be doable. You'll go ahead and you'll answer it. If you are one of the first 2 people, if you're one of the first 2 individuals to answer that question to Josh O at 1620thezone.com.
Josh O, that O is very important.
Josh O at 1620thezone.com. If you answer that question correctly, you're one of the first 2 people to do it at 1:20. You will win your way into the Omaha men's hockey game tomorrow against Colorado College at 7 o'clock. So a great opportunity for you coming up in about 35 minutes here on Middays with Matt. In 14 minutes, we will be joined by Austin Jacobsen to talk about the wild world of high school football and high school sports in general. We also want to give a bit of a shout out here, though, to Nebraska wrestling. Big duel tonight. Number 6, Nebraska, coming off of a great victory against Minnesota, who was number, I believe, 8 at the time. They take on Iowa tonight. 8 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. You'll be able to watch Nebraska take on Iowa. Number 6 in the country, the Huskers, versus number 4 in the country, Iowa. So that should be one hell of a match tonight. Looking through here, we were told earlier in the morning, which, by the way, real quick on the text line, John texted.
Hi, John.
He goes, pro move on the hot sauce, just so everybody knows that it's not a bit.
There it is. Look at that. Louisiana hot sauce.
I live this lifestyle, my man. I live it. Love hot sauce. Run 65 Bears writes in.
Hi, TC.
The Wet Bandits had kids. The Condiment Convicts. That's a good one. Or TC also writes in, the Breakfast Burrito Bandits. I was going to say, did the guy rip a bong and then want huevos rancheros? Because he took out eggs, salsa, and queso.
Yeah.
All you're missing is the refried beans, brother, and you're right there.
I love a breakfast burrito.
Oh, my God.
Who doesn't?
What is your combo breakfast burrito for you would look like?
Oh,
what?
wow. Obviously eggs, cheese, peppers, onion.
Oh, you're pepper guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steak.
Real
or chorizo.
Okay. Wow. All right. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I would go egg.
Okay.
Bacon.
I like it.
Hash brown.
nice.
But
nice play.
But not like the shredded hash brown. Mm-hmm. Not the potato, not the cubes.
We put a potato cake at the bottom.
No. You got to get in a little refried bean.
Oh,
all right. And then I kind of like it. I would do like a little carne asada, like chop up the carne asada, put it in there, get a little bit of a steak bite in with an egg bite. But
now
then you get that
language.
Now you get that great surface area with the hash brown, but then that refried bean kind of brings in that creaminess a little bit. And then what you do is you mix sour cream and hot sauce together. And then you got that spicy, and then you dip that in every time. Oh, baby.
All right. Tweet at Middays with Matt, your favorite breakfast
breakfast burrito. J-Man goes, steak and eggs, no potatoes.
I respect it.
I respect it too. You'd be surprised how far just steaks, eggs, and cheese can take you in life.
Absolutely.
My brother went to.
You don't have to overthink it.
My brother went to Guatemala. This was back in 2017. He went on a kind of studied abroad type trip. where he was a Spanish major, and so he learned to speak Spanish better by going to Guatemala. He came back, he was cock diesel. I mean, he came back and he was in some of the best shape of his life because he goes, look, I walked like 17,000 steps every day, and all he ate was rice, beans, steak, and eggs. That's all he ate. It's incredible how far you'll go with that diet.
Yeah.
Let's see.
This has made me very hungry.
Breaking.
Alabama
head coach Nate Oates officially says Charles Bediako will play tomorrow versus Tennessee.
Ooh.
We are planning to play him. He's eligible to play. We are going to follow the court orders. Since the NCAA has already allowed professionals to play, you tell me how I'm supposed to not support Charles and the team when he's been told he's able to play. You tell me.
You look in that kid's eyes and tell him he can't play. I'm not going to do it.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to look dead in his eyes. This is like those viral videos where the girlfriend asks, hey, would you slap me for $1 million?
Whoa.
The boyfriend goes, without a doubt.
No.
$1 million? Poll question, would you slap your girlfriend for $1 million?
No, I would not.
That was a viral video on TikTok.
Your generation is full of idiots. Hey, can I get you on video slapping me?
It was a hypothetical question.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He didn't actually slap his girlfriend for $1 million and then get handed $1 million.
Good. Don't do that.
I was just comparing Nate Oates to being like, you tell me he can't play. I will tell you, he can't play.
He should not play.
No, he shouldn't. It's so dumb. Why are we even in this position? By the way, did you see Paul Feinbaum's he was held hostage video about apologizing to the Big Ten?
They made that man apologize.
Dude, I was shocked. He was looking down at a script the entire time. It was wild. By the way, so Eric Bieniemy officially back in Kansas City as the offensive coordinator. The Chiefs also said goodbye to Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy doesn't have a job. So what are we doing here? Has Matt Nagy, in the most polite way possible, been told, go home?
What do you kids call it? Quiet quitting?
Well, here's the funny thing. So Brian Dable has an interview today to be the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Brian Dable went 20-40-1 as the head coach of the New York Giants. You heard that right. 20-40-1. Yet we look at Matt Nagy and we go, why would you ever hire him? What a disaster that would be. That would be a terrible head coaching decision. He went 34-31 in Chicago. He made the playoffs twice. Brian Dable made the playoffs once. It's incredible. We look at Brian Dable and we think he's this offensive savior, even though he's lost 40 games in his career. Matt Nagy is 34-31. Stibbs goes, I'll slap my grandma for $1 million.
I don't like it.
Nathan writes in, got to get the jalapeno in the breakfast burrito, along with eggs, cheese, green peppers, jalapeno, steak and onion, and picante sauce. We had somebody write in that they like the Valentina hot sauce.
Like Valentino's, the pizza place?
No, it's like the lowest ranking hot sauce on Hot Ones.
Oh.
It's okay. It's overrated. Bunch of chicken crap. Adults that want to be friends with everyone. The word is and always will be no. What does that mean, Clarence?
Oh, I thought it started with bunch of chicken, and I thought we were talking about breakfast burritos.
It starts with a bunch of chicken.
Like
a bunch of chicken. The most chicken you could think of. We're going to put in this breakfast burrito. By the way, no, I don't want chicken in my breakfast burrito.
A little shredded chicken? No?
No, hell no.
Okay.
Shredded chicken is just overcooked chicken
great take.
Shredded chicken is a hunk of crap. And then
rotisserie chicken?
Oh my God, I love rotisserie chicken. See if you get a rotisserie chicken and then I can cut it up and make it a little shredded, maybe.
Yeah, yes, Clarence. Clarence
And
adds.
we're
No,
aware.
I was talking about the Alabama thing. Yes.
I've always wanted that, but I feel like it's last on my list. I want to get a rotisserie spit. I want to make my own rotisserie chickens.
What do the roommates think of just having spinning chickens?
First off, The roommate.
Roommate singular.
The roommate.
Sorry.
By the way, we're moving to a new apartment. It's gonna be great.
Hello.
Oh, Baymon goes, suck it, Matt. No potatoes in my burrito. Whoa. I think Dan would like a rotisserie chicken setup because that means he would eat rotisserie chicken.
You keep saying rotisserie.
Rotisserie?
Rotisserie.
Oh, am I adding an R?
Yeah.
That's how I've said it my entire life.
Okay.
Rotisserie.
We'll coach you up here. It's fine.
That's what you're here to do.
Yeah.
It's part of your salary. In your job description, it goes, make sure this kid doesn't get us kicked off the air.
That's a big part of it.
It is
It's a big part of what I do every day. Happy to do it.
Happy. More than happy. Let's go to the text line. Picante sauce is trash. I totally agree. Picante sauce doesn't bring anything to the table.
New York City.
Like, okay, so Mike Schaefer, when he has hot things, he sweats, right? And we act.
I'm told this. I haven't seen it.
We act as if, like, that's a bad thing. I'm shooting for that, you know.
You want to make
I
people,
want to. I personally want to sweat.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how people feel about this take, but when I have oysters, you're damn right I'm putting hot sauce on them.
Yeah.
You know, and
do you do horseradish or?
You know what I do? So listen, so everybody knows that I eat oysters every Friday.
But today's Friday.
It's a shucks Friday, of course. And I go and get 6 oysters, right?
That's not that many.
So the first, well, that's all I need. And they're a little expensive. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So,
because it's quality.
The first one I eat, I just eat it straight up. You got to understand what the flavor quality of the profile of the oyster.
Where are we at?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then I take a trip down the line, right? I dip one of the mignette sauce, right? Dip one in that. Then you put one with the hot sauce. Then you put one with the horseradish and the like tomato looking sauce. And now I have 2 left, right? So then I combine what I want. Do I go hot sauce and mignette? Do I go horseradish and hot sauce? Do I go horseradish and put a little lime on it? Right? And then the 6th one, you either eat it straight up once again to regain that flavor profile, or you just go crazy with it. That's how I eat my oysters.
I like that you have a system.
I have a system for everything. You've been out with me to a whiskey bar and you've seen my system.
I have.
You get 1 pour, then you get a fancy mixed drink, then you end with a Jack and Coke, which you come out to about, I mean, it's a little expensive at the end of the day. But I live my life like Connor Happer told me to, in debt.
In debt. You have no partner to be beholden to. You have
no, not
child
yet.
To.
I know I don't.
Yeah. This is literally all disposable income for you.
No, I pay bills. All right, I have heating and electrical and subscriptions. Which, by the way,
all the PFFs.
I'm getting down to the point where I'm like, I actually should sit down and look through all the subscriptions that I have. You know.
There's that commercial that
Rocket Money.
Yeah.
If it wasn't such a crappy commercial, I would download it and do that.
It's a low budget commercial. Yes.
Do you know who's got a low budget guest?
I don't.
Austin Jacobsen.
Oh yeah, this guy. He's charging us
the
to
best
be on the show.
Yeah, I know. I got to pay him. I got to pay him $800 an appearance.
Yeah, it's wild.
So crazy.
I don't know how he negotiated that. I don't know why we accepted it.
You know what? He's such a get, and that's why he's coming up next on Middays with Matt.
Now, back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Middays Matt here on 1620 The Zone. Big weekend of basketball ahead here in Nebraska. Nebraska women's basketball hosts Illinois, 1 o'clock. That game's on BTN at PBA. Nebraska men's basketball on the road, taking on Minnesota at the Barn, 11 a.m. tip on FS1. Can't forget about the Omaha men's basketball team. They are on the road to Kansas City. 7 o'clock is the tip-off for that game. We bring in hoop knower and high school sport knower and just knower of things in general, Mr. Austin Jacobsen from Her Dad Sports. Are you a hot sauce in a bag type guy, or like do you bring your favorite hot sauces maybe in packets or small bottles to places you like to eat?
Hot sauce in a bag, like slap the bag, like wine?
No,
like
not slap the bag wine. No, dummy. Like, you know.
Whoa, hey, whoa.
Look,
I've been on for a minute and you're just insulting me?
Look, I have like 8 of these packets of hot sauce, and I bring them.
That's not a
with
bag.
me.
That's a packet.
No, but I mean, like they're in my backpack. That's my bag. You know, so I always make sure I got it on me. Do you bring condiments, specific condiments to places to make sure that you top things the way you want to top them?
Listen, when it comes to getting top, I mean that's what we need. That's exactly what I'm about. So yes, 100%, Matthew. Yeah, for sure. I'll bring a bottle of Cholula with me for toppings. Isn't that what you're asking about?
You just said when it comes to getting top on the radio.
Yeah, toppings. Yeah, isn't that what we're talking about?
Toppers Pizza.
Yeah, thank you.
Underrated Toppers Pizza, by the way.
Yeah,
we had one in Lincoln.
I heard at my coworkers at Her Dad Sports, we just had like this crazy video just go out about the best pizza places in Omaha, and like half of the company said chain restaurants, which is insane.
Well, Godfather's is great.
No, Godfather's was not mentioned.
Why? How was
it? It was a Valentino's. We had 2 Little Caesars. We had a Domino's. It was insane.
Little Caesars.
Little Caesars. What the hell is going on?
I think we can all appreciate a Little Caesars and the value they provide to.
No, we can't. They're terrible.
I agree.
Nobody's saying this is quality pizza.
Well, but to be fair, the best Little Caesars in Omaha is the one in Millard. So, I mean, I can understand why Trey and Tay wanted to be so close to Millard South, because that is one of the elite restaurants in that area and neighborhood.
That is, by the way, one of the most Omaha sentences, understanding that the best of a chain spot is in an outside area from downtown Omaha.
It's 100% true, though.
As always. Dude, what's your favorite pizza spot here around town?
Ooh, well, I'm obviously, I love going to Paisans. That's been a favorite of Dr. Fiance and I's. But I do very much enjoy Virtuoso. That's the one that I had put myself down.
See, I haven't done my pizza rounds around here in Omaha. It's something I have to do. I went to Trex the other day.
Ooh.
And I went, you go by Tasty Pizza. I was like, I should probably go and stop in there.
No, you need to. That's a great spot.
That's a great spot.
I had brought Lighthouse Pizza on one of the crossovers not too long ago. I think in the past couple months.
Lighthouse is the one over by 78th, right? By the Exarban area.
It's pretty close to West Side.
Fries. Yeah. It's got the fries, right? Yeah. The big slices of pizzas. Lighthouse.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. I need to go to Paisans. It's embarrassing that I haven't been to Paisans.
Let's go. Let's talk ball, and we can just talk shop at Paisans.
I hear they got a great pastrami sandwich at Paisans, which
underrated wings too. People don't give a lot of credit to the wings at Paisans. Very good stuff.
Sounds like a great place to eat. So shout out Paisans. All righty, let's talk about high school football.
Okay.
I don't know, man. It's one of those things, and we kind of talked about it on text. Like, it doesn't really like. Okay, so here's just kind of. I'm just gonna say it plain and simple, right? Please. I believe in you live in a district. You should go to that school, and that's where you should attend, and that's where you should play sports. And if you have and it gets into the whole academic thing. I understand there might be you can have some academic exemptions here and there or whatever. I'm not going to dive into that world. But when it just comes to playing sports, the district that you grow up in, and the district that you're in, and the district that you live in is where you should go and you should play. And if you want to go somewhere specific, right? To me, you have, and this is how I grew up, you have 2 options. You can get up, you can move, you can go and move and live in a different district, right? And so you have an address in that district and you go to that specific school. Or, and this is how Illinois runs, where it's like, okay, you can go to Catholic schools, right? Because Catholic schools, it does not matter where you grew up. So you have to pay to go there, right? In some places like that, recruit. But the base of it is the district and where you grew up in is where you go to school. That's what I believe. And that's where you play sports more to this point. We're past that though, which is the problem. We're not, it doesn't, and you know more about this than I do, but it just seems like at this point, because of the legislature and everything that's boiled into it, it's just not, you're not going to revert back to it. So then you kind of have this, in a way, impossible problem of what rules do you really make to regulate this stuff? So that's kind of how I view it. You are great at the stuff, at this type of stuff, and this is your passion. So I'll give you the floor, and you can kind of work off of my opinion.
Listen, this is the hardest conversation that we can have about high school sports in the state, across the country, whatever, right? And I will always be pro kid, and I will always be wanting student athletes across the state to have either as many opportunities as possible to play activities, sports, whatever they want to do, whatever they think best fits their future, all that stuff. I am so pro that, and making sure that students, student athletes, student activity, any of that stuff, they have the ability to go where they see is a best fit for them.
Yeah.
On top of that, I can agree with where everybody is coming from that love high school sports the way that I do. They want to see competitive balance. They want to be able to see, their old school rivalries from the 80s and 90s, and these districts and local opponents and games mattering, instead of just having a definitive, the highest class in the state already have a predetermined winner before the season starts. Which, to be fair, although 2 4-star athletes are moving in, they still have to play the games. A lot is still to be determined. And obviously, they still have to kind of figure out a schedule, which we can get into in a little bit too, because that's another aspect of this moving forward. My biggest thing is this. The people who want to complain about the NSAA and saying, what can they do? There's nothing. There's nothing the NSAA can do at this moment, because the state legislature allows for the open enrollment and movement across district lines and the movement across city and all that other stuff. And again, this was brought up last year during the Millard South football run. This has been brought up many times during past Metro teams and basketball, and where kids are living and where they are going. There are plenty of kids that choose better opportunities for themselves, whether it is scholastically, academically, if it is through activity, or if it is through athletics, and they choose to go to different places where they have the opportunity to do so. And like you had mentioned too, if you choose to go to a different school and it's a private school and you choose to pay for that education, that is completely an option. There's obviously scholarship opportunities in that, that way too. I'm very familiar with the Grand Island Central Catholic area, and a lot of scholarships come for local athletes in Hall County to be able to have them be Crusaders. It's very similar here in Omaha as well. But there are also a huge amount of student athletes that do not have that same opportunity to be able to pay to go to a school because of anything that is outside of their control, whether it is their parental income, whether it is their current at-home situation, all those certain things. It's a complicated and complex issue, but when you just look at it from the sports sense, I get it. But it's not realistic, because this is not professional sports. This is not college football. And it's not meant to be an even playing field. It never has been, and it never will be. Even if the rules change, it will never be an even playing field.
So that is a great point, because even when you do live in the district world of, hey, you go to the district you grew up in, that's the school you go to, right? Like, there are districts that have more resources and more money and more applications to help. I mean, look, growing up, I did, like, the same public schools were always at the top, like that's, and it wasn't just like, a random thing that they always had the best athletes. No, there was a lot of things that went into making sure that those districts, were great at football or hockey or baseball or whatever. And so, I totally understand your point from that perspective, and I also understand the open enrollment from an educational perspective, because going to school, I'm sure everybody has seen it. You go to school and you meet a guy and you're like, yeah, I like him, but this probably isn't the best school for him. Or maybe people have experience for themselves. They go to school and they go, yeah, this probably isn't the best fit for me. This isn't the right culture for me. Like this isn't best for me. I want to go to a school that fits me better. I support that from a scholastic perspective and a program perspective. I'm sure there are plenty of people who go, I want to go to this school because specifically they have this program that would benefit me. And so Austin, it's hard at times, like kind of fighting those two things, because you can make an argument, hey, this is good for education, but you can also make an argument that this is real. I mean, it's not.
Well, okay, so I get what you're saying, but also because we keep score at the end of the day, and there are Friday night games that have, multiple digits that go up on those Friday night billboards at the end of the night, and there are games that we can talk about and we can discuss and all that other stuff. I understand. It's easier to be like, okay, that is where the problem lies, because we see, 56-0, because we see games getting canceled. And I have issue with that. I have plenty of issue with the games not being played and the games being canceled. That's a separate problem to what kind of we're getting into here. My biggest thing is that people are remiss to then understand that Millard North has one of the best traditional dance programs in the entire, not only state, but the country. There are plenty of metro area student athletes that choose to go to Millard North and live everywhere across the Omaha Metro because of that reason. But we don't keep score for that. That's on a Friday night. That's not posted on the Omaha World Herald. Hurrdat Sports isn't going to cover that stuff. Like, we only worry about the ones that come with final scores. That's what we're always concerned about. And again, I completely understand it. I love these sports. Class A basketball right now is fantastic. Class B basketball, the state tournament, is going to be so much fun to go to because everyone feels everybody has a chance. I said that last week. I will say that to the end of the time. It's great as a sports fan to have that. But because it's the high school element, because these are non-professional athletes, none of these kids are getting paid. And to be completely clear, and I hope this has been completely obvious, but in case it's not to anyone listening right now, in no way, shape, or form did Millard South ever contact 2 future Husker commits to come to Millard South football. And if you believe that to be true, you are abhorrently incorrect. That has just never been the case. It never will be the case. And that was definitely not the case in this scenario. Did those 2 student athletes choose to go to Millard South because of the success of their quarterbacks, their receivers, their Division I prospects from a year ago? More than likely, yes. Were there probably other options available for them to go to across the Omaha area? And I will add the Lincoln area, specifically the Lincoln Public School Districts, 100% yes. But if you don't think that that is a truth, and you think that Millard South is calling people up and getting international or national money, like you think the Saudis are backing the Patriots to like bring in 4-star talent to win Class A titles, that is simply just not the case.
Yeah. And it's just kind of one of those, I don't want to call it unsolvable problems because I don't believe in unsolvable problems, but it definitely is one of the more difficult ones to solve.
Right. And listen, Matt, I'm right there with you too. I'm a Panhandle kid. We only played at the schools that were in our town because there was one school in our town. That's it. Like, I feel for all these like small town kids that, grow up in Johnson and the only school they can go to is Johnson Brock, or they, live out in Hastings and they have their choice between Adams Central, Hastings High, or Hastings St. Cecilia. I mean, these are the options that they have. Do they ever create the super teams or these powerful, embodiments of high school football prowess? Sometimes, sometimes that can happen, but usually it doesn't. The solution for it is out there. And I agree with you that there is some sort of solution for it, but to stop everyone from immediately pointing the blame and saying, hey, we just got to play local, you play within your district lines and everything, I think we would still see a lot of improper balance across the rest of high school football, basketball, everything because of district lines as well.
Without a doubt. And also too, like, I love that you bring up like the Millard North dance team, because it just kind of adds to the point of like, hey, it's more than just football out there. Like it's more than just, I'm sure. I mean, I was lucky enough to go to a lot of these high school football games, and I saw the bands play, right? And there's some discrepancies in there's some really good bands in Omaha. There's some bands that maybe aren't at that level. If I'm somebody who I want to eventually go and play in a college band, and I'm at Papillion La Vista, I'm like, hell, I want to be a part of that. Like, that's something I want to do. There are other aspects that are just more than just basketball and football that cause people want to take advantage of open enrollment. It's just, and you make great points, and it is what it is. Like the reason I told you this in the beginning, that's my opinion on it. I know my opinion doesn't matter because it ain't going back. Like, ain't nothing changing. That's just how I am. I do think, though, there is a part of me and a part of other people that kind of like miss the aspect, though, of you go to the same grade school, you make friends with those kids, you play on the same peewee football teams, you grow up together, you get coached together, and then you all go to the same high school and you go and you try and win with your guys, right? And now it kind of turns into all of that, and then at 8th grade you go, all right, I'm going here and I'm going here and I'm going there, and that's just one of it. At the end of the day, that feeling, I mean, it's not something that maybe in the grand scheme of things matters in terms of like a social, economic thing, but like from a childhood thing. Like, I love that. Like, I loved going to the same school with a bunch of dudes, and then you go to high school together and you play together and you build that brotherhood. Like, and that brotherhood means something. I know that in the world of dollars and cents and everything else, that kind of gets left to the wayside. Yeah. But that is something that you do lose, which kind of sucks. But I guess it's just a casualty of the decisions that have been made. But I think
on that same note, everything that you're saying, like, I completely agree with. Like, again, the small town aspect, like all that other stuff, like the old school mentality, the old Friday Night Lights of it all that sort of stuff. I get it. But there's also a part of this too, and I said this last year during the Millard South championship run, all that other stuff. There's two main points here that I think a lot of people forget. If you're a fan of high school football in the state, maybe you love going out to Friday night games like me, you follow a lot of different storylines, even if you're not, are you really going to let one game on Friday night across an entire state that will play hundreds of high school football games? Are you going to let one game every Friday night ruin your entire perception of the sport? Sure. Are you going to allow there will be 16 Class A games every single weekend in this fall in 2026? Are you going to allow one game because of an outcome, because of two kids or more that could be coming? Are you going to allow that to ruin your perception of the sport? If so, I get it, because it's one of those things that, like, you look down the line, you're like, okay, Class A is already wrapped up. You don't think the other games matter? Do you don't think Papillion and the Vista South making their very first state championship game matter to them this year? You don't think that was important to them? You don't think that Creighton Prep going on a really big underdog run this past season was a big deal for them? There were plenty of great Class A stories that we didn't really, that a lot of people just didn't care about because they didn't look at it. It's one of those things that just frustrates me to no end, because we just look at the finish line rather than enjoying the process and enjoying the aspect of high school sports for what it's supposed to be: development, memories, and all the other fun stuff that comes with it. I mean, seriously, I covered so many Omaha North games. I loved hanging out with Jerron Cannon and Max Clark and Darian Jones. Their stories were phenomenal to carry this last season. And Millard North made an improbable run to the semifinals, and they're 4-5. And yet we're not going to give any credit for that just because Jet Tamala and the rest of the Patriots did what they were supposed to do, which is the second half of this point. And then I'll let you go, because obviously I'm taking up a lot of your time. But
that's why we have you on.
The other half of this too, that people in this state, I think, sometimes struggle to do, because it is not the Nebraska way of doing this, because you're supposed to earn your keep. You're supposed to earn your way, all that, the way that this is being done is not necessarily the Nebraska way of doing it. But man, this is a great chance for national spotlights to come back to Omaha and come back to Nebraska once again. Yeah. National recruiters will be at every single Millard South game for 3 consecutive years. And if you don't think, not only on the Millard South roster, but also some of these other competitive rosters, that spotlight has illuminated maybe a little bit brighter when some of these other schools are coming in and trying to see who else is in the metro that's available to recruit, maybe they won't play fantastic against Millard South, but they'll get their name out there and they'll get some tape. And some of these schools may keep coming back because of what Millard South is doing. No, it's not fair in the sense of competitive imbalance, but maybe the spotlight and moving forward a little bit can be a positive as we kind of look down the line in future years. I hope that that's the case. I hope that we can draw some positive from it.
I just, there's one aspect, Austin, that I totally respect what you're saying. Totally respect what you're saying. But there's the have your cake and eat it too type deal.
Yep.
Where it's hard for me to look at it and say, well, it's a great thing that Millard South has all these great players and they're kicking everybody's ass and like they're bringing eyes to the product. At the same time, you guys need to pay more attention to everything else that's going on. Like, is it to me, it's got to be a little bit, one or the other. Is it like, hey, it's great they have this dominance and we're putting all the spotlight in them and they're bringing that spotlight to other teams, or it's why the hell aren't you paying attention to everybody else? And I just don't. I don't know. I think it's hard to ask people for both of those things to exist, even though I would love for that to be the case. You know, it's like I agree. What Alan Burrell did with Miller North and the comeback they made to make the playoffs and then win a playoff game was great. Coach Clemenger did and Coach Martin did for Omaha North and Papio South, respectfully, like that was great stuff. But, in a way, when they go ahead and they do play Millard South and the result is the result, it's hard to, I don't know, it's hard to look at them on the same scope again because you have a team that is just so much better. And so it's, I totally, I wish what you are saying would be the case. I just don't know if that can exist. And it's one of those things where it's like you just kind of have to, you got to wade through the waters and say, and look, I hope hopefully one day too these other teams are able to get some of these guys as well and whatever. But I know there are aspects that go into that I'm ill prepared to talk about. But I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your passion. This was awesome. This was great. This is exactly why we want you on Middays with Matt every Friday at 1:00. Austin Jacobsen still loves high school football, is what he has on his title. So do we. Talk to you soon, bud.
All right. Hey, we're going to go to Pie Zones and
we will.
grab a few pies and some beers or something.
And pies and pints, baby. Austin Jacobsen and Matt McMaster, the new podcast. Talk to you soon, my man.
All right. See ya. Thanks.
Yep. All right. Middays with Matt. Keeping it rolling here. Talking about the Ravens next on 1620 The Zone.
back to Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Zach Charbonnet officially placed on IR, so George Halani will be the backup running back for the Seattle Seahawks when they take on the Los Angeles Rams tomorrow in the second game of our championship Sunday. Going through here through some news. Officially official, Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. No home for Mr. Matt Nagy yet.
What's he gonna do?
I have no clue. The Browns head coach? That'd be tough. Clearly, nobody wants to be the Browns head coach because Mike McDaniel had an interview with the Browns, elected not to go to it to take a job as the LA Chargers offensive coordinator, and then now has an in-person interview today with the Buffalo Bills could potentially be their head coach after he did defeat the Bills this year in an upset in Miami. And I think the Bills right now are overcorrecting greatly here because they went 9 seasons with a defensive coach and they didn't win the Super Bowl, even though they had an incredible amount of regular season success slash playoff success, or well, not as much playoff success, but it's not like they never won games or anything like that. They were 13 seconds away from, getting to the big one. I digress, though. They are interviewing Brian Daboll and Mike McDaniel today. Oof, indeed. Sean McDermott, I haven't heard any rumors as to where he might land. People do forget the Pittsburgh Steelers job is still open, even though that it seems like for whatever reason they're interested in Mike McCarthy, which would be the lateral move of the century. But no info on that yet. McDermott might be a candidate to take the gap year,
Gonna sit and take a lay of the land.
I feel like there's nothing better than taking that Fox Sports desk gap year, Take 1 year off, you hang out with the guys. I feel like you don't have to prepare all that much. You just get up on the desk and you talk about football, which you've been coaching in for the last near decade. And then you go to I bet the steak dinners with Howie Long and Terry Bradshaw are incredible. Do you have like a Mount Rushmore of guys could get steak with from NFL panel shows?
Whoa, okay.
Mount Rushmore of guys to eat steaks with from NFL panel shows. Number 1, Chris Berman. Without a doubt.
Okay.
Got to get Chris number 1.
He knows every steakhouse in America, I bet, off the top of his head.
Then I would go Howie, too.
Howie?
I feel like he knows his way around.
I'm going to go a little wild.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to go Randy Moss.
Ooh. I don't know. Would he match the vibe at my table?
Sometimes he get on the ESPN, what was it, countdown or whatever the hell they call it. If you really get him going, he gets really Southern, like that West Virginia comes out in him. Yeah. And that's when I think he's at his best.
Okay, so I feel like you have to think about chemistry here, right?
Yeah.
So I got Berman. I got Long.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go Rex Ryan.
He would fit with those guys.
He would fit.
Mm-hmm.
Who would fit at your table? Randy.
Show. His former Tennessee Titans, I don't know if they were there at the same time, but Chris Sims.
Oh, I like now. Wait, Chris Sims?
The
Phil Sims. You don't want Chris Sims.
No, I don't want Phil Sims' old ass at my table.
You don't want Chris Sims' ass at your table. That's a terrible take.
Why?
Chris Sims is the worst.
The worst?
He's dead to us.
Whoa, Chris Sims is dead to us.
He has always been on the opposite side of the Bears. He has always doubted the Bears. He has always trash talked the Bears. He's always been Mr. High and mighty.
Have the Bears been good?
Okay,
ever?
but he's always been Mr. High and mighty. I know so much about football. I'm Chris Sims. Oh, I played quarterback. All these failed quarterbacks love telling you how crappy other quarterbacks are. Maybe that's because they were crappy.
I know crappy quarterbacks.
You better not put Dan Orlovsky on your list.
No, I don't think I would. He's got weird, especially to going to get a meal because he's so, his food takes are so bad.
Can I tell you this? Mm-hmm. I think I have the perfect 4. Berman, Long, Ryan, and give me Tony Gonzalez. That's an elite steak dinner table.
That is also an elite, I'm going to playfully hit on the waitress at the table quartet you got there.
They would.
We all know
They
men of
would.
a certain age who
That-
it's not. They're not hitting on the waitress, but they are definitely.
Rex Ryan
yeah,
is definitely
yeah.
being a little. Yeah. Of course. Where are you from? That's where Rex Ryan is the guy to ask the waitress where she's from.
Yeah. Where are you from?
Where are you from? My God. Oh, I was out in Charlotte for a while. Yeah. Beautiful. Is that where you get your great eyes from? Yeah, your mother.
That's something in the water down there.
Something in the water, clearly. And then I feel like though a great table would be the one where like if somebody takes over. Somebody just says, "I'm ordering."
There's got to be yeah.
Have you ever been at that type of dinner where somebody takes control of the entire table?
Yes.
And they go, "This is what we're getting for appetizers. This is what we're going to have. This we're going to have this. We're going to have this." And then you get one order, which is your entree.
For better or worse, my father-in-law does this.
Okay.
A lot of times it's beneficial because he's been there. He knows the menu. He knows what's good. He knows what's bad. He's like, let me just cut through the fat for everyone here. This is what to get.
My dad does that too, but my dad also is the worst when it comes to sitting down. Like we're always moving spots.
Oh.
I never go to where
I
never go to where the waitress is going. Because I know that's where we will not be sitting. We will not be sitting there tonight. We will be where I probably could tell you before we get there where we're more accurately going to be sitting. Probably in a booth away from everybody.
Huh.
Ooh, Travis goes big and miss not adding Mina Kimes. Knows incredible amount about ball. I'm going to be real with you. I'm not trying to learn a lot about ball. I'm trying more so to hear stories and eat steak and drink whiskey.
Well, I bet Mina's got stories.
My cousin met Mina Kimes.
Whoa.
And she texted me. She goes, "I met this famous broadcaster. Apparently her name's Mina." I go, you met who? She's like, "Yeah, she's super smart and intelligent. We talked for 45 minutes.
She was on Jeopardy. I'd like to talk to her about Jeopardy.
Talk about it. She's smart as a whip. You know who's smart as a whip? The New York, the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens.
They're pretty good at doing things.
So smart they didn't have to work an extra month of the season this year.
Jesse Minter, the next head coach of the Ravens. Talk about a franchise that has an identity, is sticking with it. They're hiring a defensive coordinator from both Harbaugh trees. Actually, Jesse Minter was an assistant in Baltimore from 2017 to 2020. Then was the defensive coordinator for the Michigan Wolverines from 2023 to 2020. I believe 2023, and then has been the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator for the LA Chargers for the last 2 seasons. The LA Chargers were the 7th best defense in EPA per play this season. I like it. I think it's hard in this coaching cycle, obviously, to objectively hit it out of the park, because there's not too many sexy hires to be made. Was Jesse Minter a part of the sign stealing scandal of Michigan and might have been benefiting, who knows, in a way from the sign guy, Connor Scallions, who is officially dead to us, by the way. Maybe. But he goes ahead to Los Angeles, does a really good job as the Chargers defensive coordinator. They have a very good unit this year. In a lot of ways kept them in the game with their really, really bad just offensive line and, at times inconsistent offense. But Minter goes to a place that he's very familiar with. Like I said before, 2017 to 2020, he was in Baltimore, and now he will go ahead and be their next head coach. I like the continuity. I like the identity. We will go to the phone lines here on 1620 The Zone. We're going to bring in, I think this is Brian Blade. Brian?
How you doing, Matt?
Hey, man. How are you? How you doing?
I'm good. Trying to stay warm, getting everything set up for tonight. And
yes, Brian, you guys, you guys have an event tonight, correct? For Brian Blade, everybody from the MWA.
Got our event down here at the First Avenue Social Hall in Lincoln tonight. It's a little cold outside, but the heat's on in the building, and it's going to be a great night. We got former TNA superstar Super Mech Don Hernandez in the house tonight.
Cool. All right. Well, I will not be there tonight, Brian, but hopefully you stay warm. You guys have a good event. You got any takes for us? Got any sport takes for us?
Well, I really think that Buffalo would be very interesting to go after, to get Phillip Rivers. That would be just utterly hilarious. You go from high school football to coming back to the NFL after 5 years to start a quarterback to go to the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. That's like natural progression, isn't it? I mean,
everybody does that. Everybody does that. That's the line of progression. You're totally right. Appreciate you, Brian. Thanks for calling in. Brian Blade, great guy. Royal Rumble coming up, by the way. You excited?
Yeah. What is that, next weekend?
Yeah. They'll have.
Always excited for the Rumble.
I was offered to be in
the Royal Rumble.
No, and I was offered to be in the MWA Royal Rumble tonight.
And why did you not?
I politely
accept
declined.
Why did you not accept this?
Because
what if you would have won?
First off, I do have some things going on tonight that I have previously committed to.
Okay.
Secondly, I am not wrestling. I thought about it at first. I thought that, man, this would be an incredible moment for me. This would be really funny.
Mm-hmm.
This would be great. I have a torn labrum in my right shoulder. It would probably not.
Use your left shoulder.
God
gave you two shoulders
I
for
have
a reason.
a surgically repaired left labrum. I don't think it would be the smartest idea for everybody for me to get in the ring. But should be a good Royal Rumble tonight.
Use your feet.
So good luck to everybody in it. I hope they end up winning. Whoever.
Well, not everyone can win, Matt.
Why not?
That's
Why can't not everybody win? It's my
Wow.
life goal for everybody to win. I just want every day to be Thanksgiving for my guys. I want everybody to eat. That's how I see it. We'll talk about how Josh Odson sees it on what to watch for coming up next here on Middays with Matt.
Middays with Matt on 1620 The Zone.
Nova's Nation, the 2026 season is here. Join us Friday, January 30th at the CHI Health Center as your Omaha Supernovas take on the San Diego Mojo for National Girls and Women in Sports Night. Watch Team USA libero Morgan Hintz and local stars Merritt Beeson and Nora Sis as Omaha and San Diego clash in an early season showdown. Bring the noise, pack the house, and help make CHI the toughest place to play in professional volleyball. Get your tickets at the CHI box office or supernovas.com.
1 in 3 women will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. Are you one of them? You are.
Now back to Middays with Matt
on
1620 The Zone.
We got to get to business. We got to give out these Omaha Mavericks tickets. They play tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Colorado College, the Mavs. Puck drop at 7. Baxter Arena.
This is for tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
There is a game tonight, but we're not giving away tickets.
January 24th. That's a Saturday. That's tomorrow. 7 o'clock puck drop. Omaha Mavericks, Colorado College. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to email Josh O at 1620 The Zone. JOSHO at 1620thezone.com.
Nailed it.
You're going to go ahead and you're going to answer this question. The first 2 people to get this question correct will win the tickets. Okay? First 2 will win the tickets, win the pair of tickets to the Omaha Mavs game tomorrow. Here is the answer. A couple weeks ago, the Omaha Mavericks gave out a bobblehead. Okay, that bobblehead was a former Omaha Mav, Jake Gensel. Here's the question. In Jake Gensel's first NHL game, he scored not 1, but 2 goals in his NHL debut. Who did he score those goals against? Against. What NHL team did he score those goals against? Josh O at 1620 The Zone. You answer that question. If you're one of the first 2 people, you're going to the game. All right? Josh,
I'll have to look that answer up after the show.
I'll text you.
I have a hunch.
What to watch for? What are we watching this weekend, baby?
Well, it's NFL Championship weekend. We're going to watch that. AFC goes first on Sunday, 2 o'clock on CBS. Pats and Broncos. NFC follows that on Fox at 5:30. Rams and Seahawks. Both games on 1620 The Zone. Men's basketball. Nebraska looks to put another notch in their belt at the barn in a classic trap game at Minnesota. 11 a.m. tomorrow on BTN. Number 22, North Carolina. Number 14, Virginia. 11 a.m. tomorrow on ESPN2. 1 o'clock tomorrow on ESPN. It's number 6, Houston. At number 12, Texas Tech. And 2 o'clock tomorrow. I think it's still 2 o'clock tip. I could be wrong, though. Number 11, some of these games are changing because of the weather. Number 11, Illinois. At number 4, Purdue on Big Fox. Women's basketball, the still 24th ranked women of Nebraska host Illinois tomorrow at 1 o'clock on BTN. 1 o'clock Sunday on Peacock. It's number 12, Ohio State. At number 10, Iowa. They lost last night, but they get another crack Sunday at 2 o'clock. It's number 2, South Carolina, as they host number 5, Vanderbilt on ESPN. And Creighton taking on DePaul, Matt. 2 o'clock Sunday on ESPN Plus, or you can listen to it on Yacht Rock 1180. NBA doubleheader tonight on Prime. Rockets Pistons at 6, followed by Nuggets and Bucks. And then an ABC triple header tomorrow. 2 4:30 and 7:30 tip-offs. Knicks, Sixers, Warriors, Wolves, and Lakers, Mavericks in Dallas. Luka returns to Dallas. I think he's been there a couple of times. Yeah. NHL, Maple Leafs, and Blackhawks tonight at 7 o'clock on ESPN. Volleyball, the Supernovas are in Indy to take on the Ignite, 6 o'clock tomorrow on YouTube. And Love Omaha taking on Love Austin at 5 o'clock Sunday on ESPN2.
Wow.
A couple new movies to stream this weekend. HBO Max gets The Smashing Machine.
Oh, wow.
No Oscar nominations for Dwayne, but you can watch him wear a lot of makeup and try. He did well. But I like to make fun of The Rock.
Me too.
And Hulu gets the Bruce Springsteen movie, Deliver Me From Nowhere, chronicling the making of 1982's Nebraska album, starring Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen.
Alrighty, quick news. Breaking, the NCAA has approved the commercial jersey patches in college sports effective August 1st. So your favorite college football team might be having a brand on their jersey. We'll see how people respond to that.
Can't wait for you all to get angry that there's an Acres patch on the jersey.
Dog of the day, dog of the weekend. Denver Broncos plus 180 money line against the New England Patriots. Jarrett Stidham does the unthinkable, leads the Broncos to the Super Bowl.
Hello.
You've been listening to Middays with Matt all week here on 1620 The Zone. We will see you Monday. Enjoy the football and the sports. Crossover with USC is coming up next.